Hello, everyone. This is the ARML on this wonderful Tuesday night. I'm Blaine Singletary, also known as Sma Man, and I'm joined by my good friend Tucker. How are you?
I am doing all right. Just been chilling. I actually just got done with some tournament mahjong games myself, and for once, I'm not tilted off the face of the planet. So I feel like I've made some small amount of improvement.
Hmm. That's all what it feels like. Everybody working to improve on their game. And speaking of, the game has begun. It seems we're right here at B1. Actually, everyone's names out right now, so I'm not really sure who is who at the moment. But
Yeah, something funky has happened here.
yeah,
Because
this might be a replay. Is this a replay right now?
and also the sides all funked up. Oh, right before the stream started, I know the OBS crashed, and I think maybe some things got a
Yeah.
little shifty.
Technical difficulties.
We can still describe these hands just for
Yes, of course. Some good pairs in the hand up front here, the dealer's hand. So you could go for
still
cheap
two
over.
away.
Yeah, two away, but that's a really good place to be early on, though. Just discarded a pair of the nines, so that's
T.
possibly going in another direction there.
Yeah, I mean Tanyao is really easy to call for here. Yeah,
And
did
that's
do the six
exactly
seven eight G.
yes. Interesting. So
It
funny.
looks like Dora is not going to be very important on this since two of the Dora Hatsu are already gone.
Okay, yes. In the other hands, we see some good sequences forming up in Manzu over on Bisan's hand. That's what the game's calling him right now. Yeah, I believe this is a replay because I see it going back and forth. But yeah, it's important to study your replays, everybody, because that is how you get better. You look back on your moves and you figure out what you can do better each time, like you were saying. You know, every game's a learning opportunity. I believe we'll be joining the game here pretty
T.
soon. So I'm in the B2 playoffs right now, and had our first two games of that
B1.
series on Sunday night. And I believe you were on the commentary team on that one.
I was. They were a lot of fun to watch. I will not forget your sumo and all last to escape death.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to try and go in and out of commentary here. Sounds like people can't really hear us that well. So just a sec. Be right back.
And while he is gone, so the four people at this table are Ryan, Sarah, Pio, and Kevin. Kevin is a sit-in, so Kevin's score will not end up counting towards the final standings, but Pio, Sarah, and Ryan's will. All three of them are looking to avoid demotion here, and Ryan especially, with a couple of good firsts, could pretty easily get into that promotion range with the bottom promotion slot right now just being at plus 16.2. So as long as you get to 16.3, you have a good chance at promoting, although we do still have two more games for the other B1 match containing a lot of people on that bubble line.
Absolutely. And I'm back now. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Yes, as you said, you've got four Hanchans ahead of you. That can really change anyone's complexion on this leaderboard, especially Ryan getting into
Beach.
that promotion range.
Oh,
And
we have a Ricci for Toyman here waiting on the 4 peen and the 7 peen. This is Ricci. Oh, there's not Tanya. That's a 9-mon. So Ricci Penfu, Dora 1, no Ipatsu.
mm-hmm.
So
Looks like
nice
we got a
lead on him.
Kokoshi run here on Asan's side. But those four Peens are probably looking a little too dangerous now, especially after not one but two Richi's called now.
And that 9 peen is actually just now the 10th unique terminal in honor, so I'm sure they're not going to end up pushing. The Ricci on the right
but
is.
there it
Oh, wow,
goes.
they did!
Oh,
Still 2 Shanten, but decided it was worth it.
I mean, when you're that deep, I mean, there's not really that many ways you can go other than folding, I'd say, at that point. But obviously, he thought he had a little bit more time to maybe get that in and decided to go for the push. But that's the way it goes. We're on to East 3 now, and the dealer now is Cisan over there, and we're moving over to that table right now. Be interesting to see who these people are after. But we have a great Sozu presence in this hand. You could turn that into an Itsu of any sort any day of the week. Good tunes there as well to kick in some more points.
And I do believe that this is PO. I'm pretty sure PO is above our 1800s.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense, yeah. And I think he's going for that all Sozu half flush there.
Which is interesting, because that competing with D-san on the right, who is also going for a Sozu half flush.
Yes, and getting a set of dragons called as well, and you have those wins out that you can easily turn into even more point value. Looking across, we have some pairs going up in. Oh, we have names now, and you're right, that is PO as dealer, and that is Ryan up across, who I'm talking about right now, has just called his not his seat win, the North, but. It's an interesting move there. He's got a lot of work to do if he also wants to go for an also Zoo half flush, which he might be posturing towards, looking at his discards right now.
Yeah, well, Pio and Kevin both have Yakuhai, so it's a little bit easier for them to make the preponderance of Sozu that are just kind of floating out in people's hands right now work. Pio, in fact, has entered Tenpai waiting on the 5-so, can make a switch to Toy Toy with a call of the 2-peen 4-so or 6-so.
And that would open up that weight a little bit more, which would let you win this hand a lot quicker. May not be worth as many points, but where you're at right now, you can easily take the lead. We have another Tenpai, though, on a Dutchman, I believe. Yes, Dutchman, Kevin's hand, looking for the South or the Green. A double Tonki weight there. Other two Souths hanging out in Sarah's hand, which you haven't talked much about yet.
Yeah, so the Mochi Mochi there is going to really make it hard for Kevin to win, because that means there is basically only one Hatsu left in the wall that Kevin has a shot at.
But as we've seen in a lot of these matches, that can easily it's that last one you can possibly get, and it gets drawn. It's been happening many times. There it is, though.
Oh, and now we have a disconnect.
She drops it, and Roan is called for those Green Dragon, White Dragon, Honitsu, Dora, turning a small lead into a great big lead heading into East 4.
Well, and now Kevin's starting with 2 of the Dora 6-so.
Wow.
And, I mean, it's mostly nice shapes. I feel like with all the middle tiles here, we'll be able to get rid of that 8-9 Pinchon and the floating 9-peen pretty quickly.
Absolutely. And take a look at... that's Ryan's hand over there. 1-pin, 2-pin triplets out of the gate, pretty much. And some good sequences happening over there as well. That hand's just about finished. Put a bow on it. And in fact, there he goes. That's 10-pi already. Gonna call Ricci. Waiting on the 8-pin, which we see one hanging out in Pio's hand at the moment.
It is Ricci Nomi, but that hand has a good deal of Fu. It has... I believe 32 Fu currently. So on Sumo, that will be a 40 Fu hand. On Roan, it will be a 50 Fu hand, which will bring up the value just a little bit.
And it's always fun to take your opponents off guard with an early reach like that. And especially when you have all the time in the world. It might be a closed weight, but you have all the time in the world to draw it. And again, we only see one of them in the hands right now. Speaking of Pio's hand, he's got some good stuff happening. That 9 triplet, which you can also turn into a pair of 9s, and the 7-8-9 of Sozu. That's some stuff going on there. You could even pick up the 7-pin and really lock that 8-pin right in your hand.
Kevin just picked up a 4th 5-mon. We don't see the con yet. I wonder whether Kevin will be willing to con the 5-mon should the opportunity arise later in the hand is currently 2 Shanten still.
Yeah, you got the Khan ready to call. That's
Ooh.
going to push you on a little bit more, though. Might
Is
call
now
the Khan right
Ishanten
now,
right?
but might be
Sumo.
waiting on Tenpai. Oh, but
Oh.
there's Sumo! Just like I said, pull up. You have all the time in the world to draw that 8-pin, and there you go, 3,700 points from the table, just like that. Moving into a pretty competitive third, looking to cross into that 30K threshold here in South 1. We're already in the South round. It feels like it's just begun.
We did come in just a little bit late, so that's part of it, but
Right.
they are there's not many repeats here, and Ryan would certainly like a repeat, having 2 of those Dora 5 Mon. You don't really want this hand to become Chitoy. Oh, that's perfect. Now
Oh,
has an Onko of Dora and is Ishanten.
yeah, you definitely, no worries about not going Chitoy on this. You're going to have plenty of value from this one and stay dealer and expand
Ooh.
on that lead. Oh,
I
that's
don't
10. No, it's not Tenpai, is it? No,
It
it
is
is.
Tenpai waiting on the Tuso, but didn't call Ricci. I don't know. There are a few upgrades to this hand, and the Forso in particular would give you a San Minchan wait, which is very tempting to wait for. However,
He's taking one of those right now, it looks like. Moving up to the 4, so rather.
not Tenpai, actually, just this is a better Ishanten.
Gotcha. Oh, I see what you mean now. Yes.
But with 3 Dora as dealer, I would have liked to see a Ricci there.
Yeah,
But
interesting.
if you pull in a Forso, you'll feel very vindicated.
Absolutely. Let's look at these other hands before this one very quickly comes to a conclusion, looks like. The Dora, of course, 5 Mon. We see one of those off in Sarah's hand right now. But a big presence of the pins there. Looks like you can bank on those, but may not be ready to commit to that suit just yet. In the hand across right now, we're seeing good sequences in Manzu and Sozu. Pair of Hatsu there, you can turn that into something. And on the left in Kevin's hand, I got some sequences going. That's going to help, that 4 pickup. And progressing nicely. Really, we're seeing everyone's hand progressing nicely. I don't think Ryan's hand is progressing from that Tenpai the way he was hoping it would, but there's still some time left. We're just about into the 3rd row.
Yeah, although the problem is now Ryan's Ishanten not near as good as, say, Kevin's on the left, who has the San Minchan and the Ryanmin and Mon. And
It's true.
we actually have Tenpai on the right for Sarah. Also electing not to call Ricci is going Dama, waiting on the 6 Mon, but this hand has no Yaku, so that 1 Dora hand is currently lifeless unless she is able to draw the 6 Mon. So kind of 2 Damas here, preventing 2 players from getting any value out of their hands despite having Dora.
We saw one of those 6 Mon get picked up, but there it is.
Sumo.
Yeah, gets
Calling
the
a full
sumo.
concealed hand.
It would have been in a pot sumo. That would have been a
Had to call it
Mongon had
Ricci.
she Ricci'd, but does not. So just gets a very small 2,000 points.
That'll be enough to stay competitive. It's still a pretty close game here in South 2, and now she gets the dealership token, whatever you want to call it. We have some good sequences in Manzu right now in that dealer's hand, 1 and 2. So actually some good pairs there, I'm seeing. Not so much sequences, I take that back more. 3 pairs at the moment. Got a call of the East from Kevin, though. Gives him 1 hot. Well, no, actually that's not the win. That's not the round win right now, but it looks like he might be trying to spin that into Honitsu. Well, there's your White Dragons. There's your Yaku.
And you would like a Honitsu in Mon, as that is the Dora suit, but you're not going to demand it. You are Ishanten for Haku only here. Being in first, you just like to skip this dealership if you could.
And there you have it.
Tenpai for Ryan on the left, waiting on the 5-mon and 8-mon. Wait, that hand also can't win.
It doesn't. The West is not the seat hand. Seat wind, rather.
So Ishan 10 for Chi Toy, I suppose. Not Chi
Dropping
Toy, Toy. That's the one.
And there's Roan. Gonna stop. Like you said, that's a perfect way to end this dealership and move us straight along into South 3. Game just started about 20 minutes ago, and we're just 2 rounds away from the end here. Already, the dealership now goes to Pio.
Oh, and this is a beautiful hand for Itsu.
Yes. Check that out. You can get a sequence, a full pure straight if you wanted. You can also, if you get an influx of dots, you can go for that as well. This is the hand you really want to see as dealer, especially when you need to cross a rather big threshold into first.
Ryan, meanwhile, across the way, has an Anko of the Haku. Is currently 2 away with that hand and can open should he choose to, although he might want a little bit more value to try and get above 30k.
And meanwhile, in Dutchman's hand there, Kevin, looking at a few sequences in Manzu and some pairs in Pinzu, rather. I got the Dora of Wonso, but that's kind of the one that's really sticking out like a sore thumb at this point.
I've started thinking, and it's kind of become a joke elsewhere, but that 1-5 shape, I've kind of started to think of that as a block if I need another one, because if you draw a 3-so, you'll have a Ryankon, so it becomes a pretty nice shape if you're able to pull that in. So the 1-so not quite as isolated as it seems, although now that we're getting a little bit closer to Tenpai, you either need to discard it or thin out elsewhere, and does decide to discard it.
And taking a look at the dealer's hand, we're closer to that sequence, closer to the Itsu of many sorts here. You gotta think about what we're doing with the rest of the hand, but we have Ricci looking for the 2 and the 5 across the table, and that's the exact 2 tiles that Pio's got that are of a different suit. 2 that they just discarded as well, so actually that's the 2, 5, and 8, excuse me, that they'd be needing across the table there.
Ye old San Menchan, as it is. There are so many in the hands already. There's not much left in the wall. We see 1, 2, 6, 8, 9. There's only 3 of those tiles left in the wall for Ryan to draw.
Yeah, and so it'll be interesting to see how he goes with this. Looks like he's just trying to integrate that with the hand. I think he knows that's dangerous right now. We're seeing a similar attitude from the other players. Granted, the 5 and the 8s, as you may have mentioned, already kind of fits pretty well. The dealer's pickup of the 1-so is going to make that 2 right at home. But now what do you do with that 5 other than just kind of wait this hand out and give up the dealership?
Pio is discarding the safe 2-peen, just trying to kind of move sideways into a K10 more than likely, wanting to be Tenpai at exhaustive, as that 2-1 was the weakest shape in hand. The 1 looks fairly safe, being 1 chance, although at the end of the hand, you can't count on that too much. We now have a Ricci waiting on the Dora 1-so for Sarah, as well as the 4-so.
Wow, that's just everyone seizing on those Sozu in this hand to pick up some craziness.
Sumo on the Dora!
Wow! There you
Ricci
go, lots of points.
Sumo. Dora
and 1 Dora. No Uradora, but you don't need it. That's enough to take second and get above 30k as we move into all last on game 1.
And look
at this hand.
Kevin starting with the closed con of Chun, and is just staring at this like, what the hell do I do? Like, what am I? It does it. It flips over another 16.
Wow. So let's take a look. We have 2 7-peens in hand right now. That's a little iffy if they'll get capitalized on, but for anyone who does, but we have Ricci already on Ryan's side. He's
2-mon and 5-mon. Kevin certainly isn't going to deal that in, as Kevin is going for a Honitsu in Mon. But with those... and another con! Does not care about the fact that someone has called Ricci to his right. Kevin is just itching for that value.
Itching for the value, but you're already in the lead. You're giving points away at this point, or so I would think, but might have other reasons here. I mean, you do have the chance
Is now
to really...
waiting on the Tumon.
That's true. Waiting on the Tumon. And there it is, the Tumon. Just picked up by Pio. Not going to drop it. Probably sees everything looking rather dangerous. Going more defensive, I would say, at this point. Then again, might be just feeling things out still, because we're still in the early part of this hand.
If on Sumo, Ryan has a 90 Fu hand, on Roan, Ryan has a 100 Fu hand, and we have not seen many of those. Not Ryan, Kevin. And on Roan, that wouldn't happen because that hand's not closed. I got confused. So on Sumo or Roan, that would be a 90 Fu hand, which is just absolutely absurd.
It started closed with that con, but now the Norths are out, and yeah. Imagine calling Ricci on that, though. Well, and all the Uradora that could be waiting for you on the other side.
And is currently waiting for Ryan. I don't know, did we talk about the Forso being the new Dora? Because there are 2 of those in Sarah's hand.
I think we missed that in all the crazy chaos, but you're right. There's 2 Forsos up in Sarah's hand, which would complete a 4-5-6, just one of them would. With the other sequences forming up in the hand, that would make for a good Pinfu. But we'll see how she reacts to it. That 5, you could make an Ipeco out of that now.
So what do you discard? Okay, discarding the 4-pin and the 3-pin are both safe to the Ricci, so that is a great path to Tempai. The Ishan 10 just got a little bit wider.
That's true. Meanwhile, Pio looking like maybe just trying to... Well, hard to tell if he's committing to this fold or not. Those 2, 5, and 9 are still looking very dangerous. I don't know what you do with those other than hang on.
Yeah, Pio is yet to discard anything but a safe tile.
Yes, this is true. In fact, but he did drop that, well, the 7-pin that is dropped elsewhere. That double Dora 7-pin is dropping now. But there is still one up in Sarah's hand that she can take great advantage of if she keeps pushing here.
Yeah, she only has one more draw to find Tempai. Does end up taking a different Ishanten here. A little bit worried about the 3-mon.
Probably just looking for a safe path to Tenpai.
And now if you're Kevin, you probably abandon... Oh my goodness, Kevin! Kevin abandoned keeping Tempai, but it doesn't matter because we have Haite from Ryan. We had 3 during the stream last night, 4 if you include Hoite, and now we've started with 1 today.
Picking up 9,000 points, pushing everybody below 30,000. He's going to be the lone scorer in this game, 25 points for that. And it's all for the sub at this point. So that doesn't factor into the promotion-demotion proceedings that we've been tracking tonight. But that's going to mean everybody takes a little bit of a drop, unfortunately. But we still have plenty of games to play here. And I mean, Sashimi only losing half a point. You can come back from that easy. Same story for Sarah, really. Pio's got their work cut out for him, but still plenty of time here.
Negative 19.2 is one of the smallest last places I have seen in the ARML. Like, it's hard to get much closer than that. They were so close to 30,000.
Yep. Still, what a crazy end to that first game. I mean, that's like, that last hand, I believe, is going to have a few highlights for any kind of end season wrap-ups we may be planning, but wow. That's all I can say. Wow.
Yeah, but if you are Sarah or Pio, you definitely wanted to be making progress, not losing any ground. So even though it was a small hit, even more than losing points right here, you've lost your first opportunity to get out of demotion zone. So that's going to make these next 3 Hanchan just that much more tense.
Yes, and there is a pretty sizable gap between demotions and not. About 50 points, if I'm doing my math right. I don't know. You're the math teacher here.
Yeah, 41.8-ish.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. And with and that cut line there set by Rachel, she's finished her games, so that's kind of the hard line now, as you can see, to get out of this demotion zone. But again, still plenty of time. The next match should be coming up in just a few minutes. You know, we were talking about before I had to kind of duck off to fix my mic and everything, about kind of the playoffs so far over in B2, which of course is in the Beta League, we're having our playoffs this week, and that has been crazy. You were mentioning that Sumo I happened to pull off right at the very end to jump out of last, make it to second, and just almost completely negate point loss. But
Yeah, the final two is there one more Hanchan or two?
there's two more. We'll be playing those on Sunday, so tune in, everybody. In fact, while we're in the middle of the match here, go ahead and click that follow button, and you'll be notified whenever we go live here in the ARML. Also follow us on our socials as well.
Unfortunately, one of the other things we used to be pitching was the signups for the summer league, but those have now ended.
Oh, I was about to ask about that.
They ended yesterday at 11:59 Pacific time, so we should have everybody that we're gonna have for the summer season. So you know, as this season ends in a very exciting way, also just getting a little joy waiting for the next season to start as well.
Which is going to be pretty soon. I believe it's just pretty much the day after this one ends, I believe.
There will be, I believe, a 2-week buffer between
That's right.
the two seasons.
That's right.
Of course, Edwin has so much work to do to make sure everything is set up right, so that it is as smooth as possible. Edwin puts in a lot of time to make sure that everything is working the way it should. So those 2 weeks are very, very necessary for him.
Yes, and competing and commentating on top of that. I mean, definitely we couldn't have this first season or any of this action without him. So Edwin, if you're listening, thumbs up, man. Thumbs up. Yeah. All right. Again, game 2 starting in a couple of minutes here. Other than that crazy last hand there, what are some other moments from that last game that really raised your eyebrows?
Oh, I'm trying to think back to just there were several questionable damas. The hand where I believe Ryan had 3 Dora and didn't call Ricci as dealer because it was a closed weight that had upgrades, and then ended up leaving Tenpai and never found it again.
Yeah,
That
I mean, I see their point in going for that, going for a better weight, going for an upgrade, but I also see more arguments to the former of just calling an early Ricci. We've seen that work in other parts of this game. Calling that early Ricci and locking in your dealership so you can grab more points potentially later on. I don't believe we saw any dealer repeats in this match. Did we?
that's very easy to verify. Now that you mention it, I don't think we did. There may have been one before we got there, though. No, not a single one. That was a 8-hand Hanchan. Because a couple of them went to, well, none of them went to exhaustive. But we did go very deep into the wall in a couple of them, so it wasn't the fastest game we've seen, but it was pretty close.
Yeah. We did almost have an exhaustive draw, but then Hote out of nowhere. Which we've been, as you said, you've been seeing tons of them on stream lately.
Yaku just seemed to do that sometimes. It's like you won't see a Rian Peiko for 4 years, and then you'll see 5 in the same week, or 5, or maybe 5 chances at them, and you're just like, well, what's going on? I think Venus must be doing something weird right now.
Well, it's like in most tournaments I've been to, where someone gets a Yakuman and then everyone gets one, just all at once.
Talking
Scary.
about Yakuman,
Ooh.
what do you...
You're talking about Sarah's hand there, perhaps?
I'm actually talking about Ryan's. If Ryan's able to pair up this Chun and this Haku,
Oh, yes. Daisangen, of course. Yeah.
has started off with a Anko of the Hatsu and is already opening, so is not going to push too much for value. Is just taking whatever he can get to get repeats early.
And yeah, when you're the dealer, you want to get those early repeats, really set the stage for how this confrontation is going to go. The door is 3 mon. You could pick that up as well for some more value. Taking a look at Sarah's hand, what drew me to that was a lot of honors, which she is now discarding in favor of some other good sequences forming up in that hand, and also a pair of the Manzu as well.
And then across the way, Pio has a beautiful hand. Already has one of the Dora 3mon and is actually Ishanten for a Pinfu hand. Oh, now has 2 of the Dora, and because of that is tossing away that 9-so pair. Could draw an 8-so and still get the Ishanten for Pinfu, as a matter of fact. Could also get a 4-5-6 Sanshoku to really push value. Oh yeah, that I think is part of the way this is moving.
Oh. Looking at Kevin, the Dutchman's hand, we have some good sequences there in the Sozu. You've got half of it there. Khan called with the Hatsus.
Flipping the 2mon over as Dora. Oh, and now Pio has an Anko of the Dora.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
And is Gondama waiting on the 3-peen and the 6-peen.
Interesting there. And here's the 3-peen. I think you hang on to that as your pair and drop the 8. There you go. There's another one, and there you're hanging on to that as well.
Oh boy.
Now here's Ricci, waiting a turn.
The Sumogiri Ricci, which has been happening a lot. I don't know, with 2 indicators, I don't know that there's really any purpose to it. You've already got Tanyao, Pinfu, Dora 3. The Ricci gives you a guaranteed Hanuman. Since it's such a high-valued hand, you're maybe thinking that you don't want to lower your winning percentage by calling Ricci. But this is a perfectly reasonable thing to happen. You get the 6-peen, and now you have Ricci, Pinfu, and you get the 2 Ura for the Baimon.
Baimon opening this game 2 here in this B1 match. We're moving on to East 2 already, and man, as dealer, now you're paying the line. Actually, no, yeah, that was a Roan, so you're paying the whole share of that. That's got a smart. But we're moving on here. Sarah's got a 7-8-9 sequence already locked in and a pair of Manzu, and some other Pinzu, which are starting to form up into tiles as well. Some sequences as well.
Yeah, was finally able to discard one of those honors from her hand. Sumogiri'd the first 3 tiles, which never really feels good, but things are coming together now. To the right, Pio does not have that great of a hand. All of the middle tiles are fantastic, but the 8-9 mon and the 8-9 peen are kind of slowing things down.
Now, with that slowdown comes the chance at some more value. The Dora is 7 mon. Could pick that up, but it's going to be some work there, as you said.
Ooh, look at Ryan's hand on the left. Had 5 pairs, drew in the third 7-peen, and is now discarding the complete sequence. The 4-5-6 mon was a complete sequence in hand, is discarding that. So is hard pushing here for either Chitoi or Toitoi, or maybe Suanko if you're able to keep drawing into those pairs.
Interesting there. Dropping the 5 mon now. Pick up. I just missed what he picked up there. The south, I believe.
Yeah, which is typically a better tile for, say, Chitoi.
Right. Let's see. I haven't looked at Kevin's hand too closely. Oh, there's a call. We're going on the Toitoi route, picking that side of the crossroads. Again, though, looking at Kevin's hand, they've got some good pairs there. And a good sequence just finished off, picking up that 5-so. 2 east as well. That can turn to some points. Again, you don't really need a whole lot right now if you just want to take some early chip damage, get yourself above that 30k threshold, and have something to work with when your dealership comes around.
Kevin
be a good
is
strategy there.
Ishanten now. And Ryan actually discarding the 3-peen after drawing a second south. That south should be easier to call than the 3-peen would be, so we can see the logic there. Sarah has entered Ishanten for this hand as dealer, a Pinfu Dora hand.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if would you hang on to the south in this situation?
リーチ
It's late in the hand. You feel like that could help somebody out big time right now. Of course, you have a Ricci called now too, so that complicates things further. And that's from Pio waiting on the 2-mon, 5-mon, both of which are in Sarah's hand, and 2 more in Dutchman's hand.
And that is Ricci Pinfu.
Mm-hmm. As we're talking about that, the south comes out, so there you go. Not called on it, though, by Sashimi. Oh, because Sashimi started it by dropping the south. Okay, I see.
And made the south safe. And now Sarah is still mawashiing a little bit, playing the Suji Tuso, trying to hang on to Tenpai somehow.
Mm-hmm. We also
have
have call.
tile, you don't.
Kevin calling the Easts up there, locking in a Yaku. Possibly trying to lock in. Oh, that does lock in Tenpai as well. No, not quite. No, it does. It does.
No
It is
pair in that hand at the moment.
That's true. That's true. But and towards the end of the hand here, that might get you a little bit of points. And that happens.
Ooh, that 4 will be Tenpai. You just have to discard the 4-peen or the 5-peen. Are you willing? Yes, discards the 5-peen. It was Nakasuji to Pio, who had discarded the 2-peen and the 8-peen. So Kevin able to get Tenpai right on the last draw.
And that's a good way to pick up 1,500 points and move the game along as well. It goes to Pio now, who after that amazing Baimon now has the dealership, and that's gonna possibly mean some more points for him here. I mean, you got a lot of edge weights, a lot of edge action going on. Not the fastest, but you can, especially picking up the Dora 7-mon, it can lead to some more points as well here.
Especially if you're able to make that 789 Sanshoku.
That's true. You have the beginnings of that in this hand right now. Picking up the 9 is going to help with that, of course. Taking a look at Kevin's hand, we have some sequences forming up. A pair of the 3-so, which you could turn into another sequence with the 2-so, and really that hand is coming along beautifully in the early goings here.
Yeah,
really similar. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say as is Ryan's, really.
Yes. Ryan there, Sashimi, getting the sequences locked in. That could be a beautiful Pinfu if you choose to pursue that. Meanwhile, Sarah got an Anko of South. That's not a Yakuhai Wind at the moment. But with those other sequences and stuff, you could easily reach for this one. Possibly go for some more points. Could accept the Dora at this point as well. To build some value here, get yourself above 30k.
Pio now 2-shanten for Junchan. That Junchan currently would not also include the Sanshoku, as the 9-so would be the pair, but Pio going to end up with one fancy Yaku or another. And then Kevin is Ishanten on the right.
When you've got a Yaku like Sanshoku, it's important to have a contingency plan because that can just not happen. You know, you rely on the draws and what your player to the left puts out for you to chi off of, perhaps. So that's a good way to hedge your bets here. Of course, when you're that far in the lead, you just need anything at this point.
And Junchan is nice because it's actually worth more than Sanshoku is. But now we do have... Oh, we have a Ricci from Kevin. Drew the 6-mon, the absolute best thing to draw, because now you're waiting on 1-so, 4-so, and 7-so. So we've got the San Minchan for Kevin, the 3-sided weight. And there's still a lot of those in the wall. There are 5 out that we can see, which means that there are 7 tiles still in the wall for Kevin to draw. And as we enter the third row, that's really dense. There's one right there This is Ricci Pinfu, Dora 1,
And
will not
drops
get
it.
Tanyao because of that 1-so deal in, but could still get Ura.
Not this time, but 6,200 points is definitely accepted at this point in the game, especially when it means your dealer next round. And we're going to that right now in East 4. The Dora is 6 peen. Starting off with a sequence of the 7, 8, 9. Got some pairs there as well in Sozu. Overall, a pretty respectable opening hand.
Yeah, and that's two pairs that I try not to think about as pairs because I really like to think of that as 2-so, 3-so, and then 2-so, 3-so again. But we have Tenpai on the right from Ryan.
Yes.
Waiting on the 8-mon, and once again, we have Adama here. And this is also one Dora, so not wanting to call the Ricci Dora 1 bad weight, you're in last place. You do have the entire South round, including your dealership to go, is now going to take the Champon, which...
And call Ricci on it. Waiting on the 7-mon, 8-so.
And the 7-mon is a Suji trap with that 4-mon discard, but the 7-mon being close to the 9-mon might make people a little bit wary of it.
Suji trap with consequences. A threatening aura.
Yeah, Ricci Tanyao Dora 1 is definitely something I tend to try not to deal into if I can.
Hungering for the points too, though, at 7,300. Would like to get some positive momentum heading into the South round.
Oh yeah, that would be absolutely massive. Sarah trying to figure out what to do with that 3-peen draw has a beautiful Ishanten and does decide to push it. We'll see if she's willing to push the 3-so as well. Yeah, now that the Ishanten somehow got wider, which I honestly did not think was possible.
You got a Dora in there as well? It's looking beautiful on that side of the table. But can you keep... can you take the heat of this Ricci and these other hands rapidly coming together? There's Tenpai, as you said.
All right, this is going to be a good wait, but it is just Ricci Dora 1. There's no Pinfu here, waiting on the 3-peen and the 4-mon and the 7-mon.
The 4-mon just picked up by Pio, stashing it away there. It fits pretty nicely with the rest of the hand. Well, maybe a little bit.
And that 6-so was Genbutsu to Ryan and Nakasuji to Sarah. So look, Pio currently playing mostly safe, as far as we can tell. Oh, and there's the Sumo for Sarah. So Ricci Sumo Dora 1.
6,000 points. No Uradora this time, but that's going to put you above 30k and give you the positive momentum heading into the South round. We go to Sashimi, who's in a very different place than when we started this, but look at that hand. Look at those beautiful pairs, all in Pinzu.
Yeah, you'd really like to make a Chinitsu here. Getting a dealer Mongon in your last turn as dealer is a quick way to catch up, although you're going to have to race Sarah, who unfortunately also has a lot of peen tiles. Looks like is currently pushing for that peen Honitsu, although does keep the 4-so around after calling the tunes and having the Dora 1-mon. You're not necessarily going to force the Honitsu.
Interesting. Once again, we see two people going for Itsu hands of the same suit in this early going here.
Ryan not 100% committed to it yet, or at least didn't want to chi that 6-peen. It would have taken away your best middle tiles, so it's not a chi that I typically like to take when I'm this far away from my Chinitsu, but even so, there's a 5-peen. And again, not chi'd. Oh, it gets the 3-peen on the draw.
Oh,
this hand is now Ishanten for Chi-Toi Honitsu.
Oh, that's right. Chinitsu, yeah. Ipeiko as well, depending on how this shakes out. But you could go for the pairs just as easily here. Yes,
across the way, Pio looks like is building possibly an Itsu in Mon. Is I believe though just well, the Mon shapes aren't great, so maybe not Ishanten.
7, picking 8, up 9. That 7 though, you might be angling towards Itsu.
Yeah, it is now Ishanten.
Gotcha.
for just like a normal Pinfu type hand. And Kevin on the left is Ishanten as well. Although that 1/2 mon is really slowing things down. But you don't want to toss it because the 1 mon is Dora. Oh, and there's the 2 mon for Pio. But the problem is the 3 mon was your pair.
Interesting choice. Decides not to break up that pair, dropping the 7 pin instead. And now that pair is the weight tile for Dutchman's Tenpai.
And now Pio also has a Tenpai, does elect to call Ricci on it, waiting on the 6 mon and the 9 mon. That is a Nobiton weight, so that is just Ricci Dora 1. And of course, as you said, Kevin has Ipeco Dora 1.
Interesting there. We have another... Yes, waiting on the 7 pin. You mentioned that, yeah.
Oh, I didn't actually mention that.
Oh, sorry.
So you are very
My brain's
good to
all over
point
the
that
place.
out.
Yes, 7 pin. We have another Ricci, another Tenpai.
Oh, this 6 mon has to come out of Ryan's hand. You have to push. I mean,
No.
you have this beautiful, beautiful hand. You have so much value.
Decides not to. But what are you going to do with this now? Do you just give up this hand? I mean, you just try to go for just a Tenpai at the end of this? I mean, we're not that far. Drops the 6th, and there you go.
Just waited a turn before doing so. Ricci Dora 1 and gets 1 Ura, so Pio extending his lead, and Ryan unfortunately falling further in the last. And we've seen a lot of reluctance at this table to call Ricci. I mean, if you look at these Ricci rates, 22%, I believe, is pretty close to league average, but 13.7, 17.5, and 16.9, those are all, I think, pretty low as far as Ricci rates go.
Yeah,
I always have a hard
guess
time
so.
judging Ricci rate because mine is like teeny, microscopic.
I mean, you see the call rates to go along with that. Also, I would say rather low, except for Ryan's case, calling 53% of his hands. 54 if you round up. But again, yeah, the restraint at this table is palpable. In fact, let's see how that plays out going into this hand. Sarah's the dealer. The Dora is 5 pin. Got some good sequences or pairs going on, depending on how you want to play those. Similar story off to the right with Pio. Looking at those north pair, not the seat wind, but you have an Anko of the Forso as well.
And look at Kevin's hand across the way. Has a pair of the Dora 5 pin and 2 complete sequences. So is currently 2 away because we don't have enough blocks.
Pio calling the north to open the hand. That's not a Yaku.
I believe it's going to be Toy Toy, is what's being pushed for here.
Now that's a very valid strategy at this stage of the game. Does make everybody raise their eyebrows, though. Dutchman calling the 5 mon.
I think I misread that Ishanten because now it's Tenpai waiting on the 7 mon.
That's right, 7 mon. We see a pair of that in the dealer's hand. One of them already discarded.
So there's only one more 7 mon left in the wall.
I'd imagine he'd be looking for a better upgraded weight at this point.
It's kind of hard to upgrade. I guess a Champollion is all you can upgrade to in one step, because if you draw the 5 mon, you will be Furitan.
That's right. I haven't looked too much at Ryan's hand here. We have an Anko of the 1 So, and some good pairs going there. You could try to go for Toy Toy yourself, but it's a little late in the game to start trying to do that. It's that curse of needing value, and you got it in the 2 Doras.
Oh, we see a con from Pio, draws the 6 mon, had been holding on to that final north, and does elect to call con on it to get the extra draw. And it benefited. Got Pio to
now. Yeah, 5 or the 8. There's no Yaku in this hand, but you could be going for Rinshan, as that call would let you do.
And of course, you can call Pawn on the 3 mon. And then discard either. Yep, and that's what happens.
Exactly. There we go. Tonki weight on the 6 So.
Hell Tonki weight. There's only one 6-0 left, and it is in Sarah's hand. Sarah, who is now Tempai, waiting on the 1-mon and the 4-mon. Only
And there's the 1-mon
gets
coming
the
out
opportunity,
now.
comes out.
There you go. 1,500 points, but that's enough to keep the dealership.
And steal second.
Steal second, yeah. And we'll see if she can get all the way to first now. There's a long way to go, but all you need is small hands like this, which she's immediately calling out right now for that east. Though you can make this hand worth a lot. If we take a look at it, you've got a completed sequence and a pair in the Manzu. Only 4 tiles that aren't that suit. You could easily drop those and go for Honitsu. Though dropping the south makes me think maybe you have some other plans, but...
Yeah, pairing up the Dora would be perhaps the easier way to get the same amount of value here. Because that 2-2-3 shape is just so good.
Mm-hmm. Not seeing... Well, we do see the Dora on the hand across. In fact, look at that Itsu. Just about finished, anyway. Looking for the 6 pin to finish that sequence, that straight up, completely. That would be some good points there. Though you could use a little bit more value, probably. Well, maybe not. That'll get you a second.
It has paired up the Dora. The absolute perfect draw for Kevin is now Ishan 10 for this Itsu.
Yeah, forget what I said. You've got plenty of value there. Don't listen to me.
Doing pretty good now.
Meanwhile, the dealer dropping that... that's not the Dora, never mind. But probably close to dropping the Dora next turn here. Just looking to make some sequences here, perhaps?
That is Tempai waiting on the 3-mon and the 6-mon. And we see the Dora Pone from Kevin. Oh, Kevin, greeting. Going for the open Mongon here. Unfortunately, you must get the 6-pin for this hand to work. And you don't have your pair yet. You need to pair up either the 1-mon or the 2-mon outside of your straight suit.
And after that, you need to get the, like you said, the 3-mon. Well, you'd probably discard 1 or 2 there to finish off that hand.
And now it's especially hard because you're fighting a Ricci from Pio. Pio with the Hell Weight on Dora, waiting only on the 8-so. And everybody can see the Pone.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when you're in the position where Pio is at, where you're that far in the lead, you can afford to take a pretty risky Ricci, and that might get people to back off from you, because they think you might have a lot more.
And that's exactly what happened. Sarah bailed on her hand, might still try to get Tempai for, what's it called? The end at exhaustive. Could take it again right here, but was it has been unwilling.
Gets
the Hell Weight Dora Sumo! Ricci Sumo Dora! Oh my goodness, that is absolutely absurd! And now Ryan is sitting at 0 points.
Going to the gates of hell and coming out with a profit. 56,000 points heading into South 3 on the second dealer turn here. And look at this hand. This is almost not fair. You got a sequence ready to go and some pairs to go along with it. 3 pairs to be exact. That can be a very quick open and shut case to really continue this lead, continue this amazing run he's having right now.
I am excited and disgusted at the same time. I'm still reeling. Oh boy, if I was at this table and I saw that picture come up and it's got the sumo on the final Dora, I would probably just walk away from my computer and let it auto discard in the first 4 turns so I can cool off.
Credit to everyone here. They're still in it. We have some good hands across the table as well. Dutchman got a sequence of the 5, 6, 7. So got some pairs in the Manzu and the beginnings of a sequence or pair in the Pinzu. A lot of good, respectable things happening there. Ryan, picking up another sequence there just now. Got some other sequences going. You can go for Pinfu. You can go for a lot of things. Sarah, on the other hand, has a couple sequences going there as well. We have Ricci. We have Ricci here from Ryan, waiting on the 7 pin?
And the 5 pin and the 8 pin.
Wow.
This is a Ryantan. We have The two 6-peen are the pair currently, and you could be waiting on 5-peen and 8-peen, and that would be Riichi Pinfu. Or you could draw the 7-peen, and that would be your pair, and the 6-peen would be an Anko.
Of course. And the 7 peens being called already in a pawn there. Looks like the dealer's going for a quick Tanyao. That's the word.
That's actually kind of nice for Ryan because that guarantees Pinfu.
That is true. And still plenty of those left in the wall to go through here. Of course, we see an Anko of the 5-peen sitting pretty in Kevin's hand right now.
And the fourth 5-peen is in Pio's discard. So no 7-peen and no 5-peen left for Ryan to draw, but there are still 3 8-peen in the wall.
And there's still 25 tiles to go here to determine this fate.
An interesting draw for Sarah. True the 1-peen, but does not decide to extend that shape. The 1-peen not confirmed to be safe against the Riichi, but it is one chance.
I was about to say, is that Nagashi, but not quite. There's a couple in there that aren't.
And as fun as it is to get Nagashi in the league play, you don't get any points for it. It's just like style points, really. It's just flexing on everybody, letting them know that you're capable of getting bad draws for an entire round.
Shooting the moon, as they call it in Hearts, I think. But yeah, here there's, as you said, there's no points for that. It's not quite recognized, to put it one way.
Pio has managed to find Ishanten without discarding this 8-peen. Drew the 9-peen and has effectively kept himself from dealing in. Although if I'm Pio, I don't even want to be Tenpai. Like, I would willingly just toss away my Tenpai here. Oh, well, Pio needs a lot of points. This is true. This probably explains Pio's decision-making on the Hellweight as well.
That is true. You know, there are the tournament implications here. You got to be knowing where you're at in this series. And he's going to give up the dealer there, but 56,000, that many more over the other players, that's still going to net you a pretty hefty sum. So there's one thing of wanting to maximize that, but the other thing I can see just as well is to hang on to what you got and carry that and cash it in right after this all last round, which we are starting right now. South 4 and the door is 9-peen. We have some pairs already happening in Kevin's hand, though. Already calling the Red Dragon. Actually has a triplet of the 5-mon as well. Looking like an easy toy here for Kevin.
Yeah, you love being Ishanten this early. It makes you feel a lot more likely to draw what you need to get a possible
and now Tenpai.
But doesn't need it. I mean, this is Toy with 2 Yakuhai.
7-peen and the Green Dragon are what you need to win. We see singles of those in the other hands, and there it is! Quick end to this hand.
Yeah, that's incredibly unfortunate for Ryan. I mean, it could have been literally anything in Kevin's hand.
Yeah, we'll be taking a dealer's Yakuman. Sorry, not Yakuman. That'd be crazy. Dealer's Mongon, 12,000 points. That's going to bite either way. But now Kevin has a chance at this lead if he keeps up hands like that. One more of those, and you're tied. Actually, just a little bit of a lead. And with this hand, though, that's going to be a little bit of a difficult thing to achieve, I'd imagine. You got some sequences forming, but there's not a lot.
You have the door of 5-peen at least, so the value that you need could be there. But no one, well, I was about to say no one else looks like they have incredibly good hands, and then I actually looked at the hands and realized that I was incredibly wrong. Both Pio and Sarah with beautiful hands. Sarah has very nice shapes in all of the suits.
Pio with an uncalled con. Sorry.
Yeah, and Pio with an uncalled con. I doubt we'll ever see that con called. Unless the Tuso is drawn. I mean, if the Tuso is drawn, then you have the 1, 2, 3 so, and you don't need that extra 4 so to make a sequence for you. Unless you wanted to open for Tanyao.
But that would be a good table flip Shinitsu if you can pull it off. Only 3 tiles, not of that suit. One of them's the Dora. I argue you don't need it if you got that staring back at you.
Well, talking about the Chinitsu, we'll see what Pio does with this 7. Does elect to call it.
Calls it. Okay.
And discards
There
the
you
Dora
go.
immediately. Wants to
Come.
get the most dangerous tile out of the hand now. And
Mhm.
we have a con from Ryan, which flips the
Oh.
one sub as Dora. And there's only one of those not in the discard pile, and it's the one in Pio's hand. Unfortunately, unless you draw a 2 and a 3, there's no way to use that extra Dora that you just got.
Wow. That's sad and also comforting at the I don't know, it's weird. Mixed emotions. But he's on track now. See what he does with that red dragon.
It's just gonna hold it. That's actually the first red dragon that anybody has drawn.
Mm-hmm. And you
Ryan,
want to defend that
meanwhile,
lead.
Ryan obviously can't catch up. Even a Yakuman Sumo would not be enough.
Mm-hmm.
But
Meanwhile,
we have
Sarah
a
calling Ricci.
Sarah.
Looking for the 4?
1-mon, 4-mon.
1-mon, 4-mon. Yeah, that's right. Or would it also be... No, not quite. Wouldn't quite be the... Or another 6-mon. You could win with another 6-mon, right? Am I thinking that wrong?
No, it's 2, 3, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
With
yeah,
that.
yeah. I see.
So it will be Tanyao if 1 on the 4-mon. Otherwise, it will be Richidora 1 with 2 different shots at Ura. Pio still building this Chinitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan hoarding all of the DLM 1-mons.
Interesting. Our dealer, on the other hand, you got to think what's going through his head right now. You have a shot at the lead, but then again, 43,000 is still gonna give you great I'd say good prospects, but he's not actually in this as a substitute, so might just be looking to play this one out here.
Yeah,
go for the draw.
Not really a lot of reason to push. You can just let it end at this point.
I think we'll see the same thing with Pio as well, even though he just picked up a Dora. So I doubt we see that get dropped.
Sumo.
Oh, there's a Sumo!
There was still 1 tile left in the wall, so it's not Haite, but you have Ricci, Sumo, Dora 1, no Ura. Not quite. You needed the Ura if you wanted to pass Kevin. But without the Ura, you are still in third, although plus 6.5 is a perfectly respectable third place.
Absolutely. But Pio, the big winner tonight, 38 points, really catapulting into the lead. You see the standings updated on your screen just right now. Everybody's kind of closer together now.
Yeah.
Ryan now setting the... Actually, that's Ryan setting the new cut here. And now this race to get out of the demotion zone is really on, because those are some very close scores. The person at the top of this series is going to be getting out, but the other 2 going to go down.
Yeah, you can essentially call it as whoever has the best score in the final 2 Hanchan, unless it is Kevin.
Right.
Now, it is possible that Kevin could send everybody here to the Pokey and pick them all down to B2 as a sub. So as long as the person who wins is not Kevin, one of those 3 is going to be getting out of demotion. And it went from being incredibly hard for Sarah and Pio to being incredibly realistic. This is a fight now. Unfortunately, though, we are going to go see another tight match. A1 has been an absolute nightmare here at the end of the season. The cut line is at about -10, which is absolutely absurd. That is over 100 more than the cut line here, because everybody's just so close together. Such fierce competition in A1. And so this is going to be one of the tables where people are actively trying to avoid demotion. And we are in East 1 here. It is... Oh boy, who this is Simon. It is Simon's dealership, and it looks like
it's already coming to an end.
June has already gotten a Sumo.
Wow, Shinranko. It looks like there were already a few repeats in that opening dealer run with Whoever you said he was there, Adi
Simon.
Simon. Thank you. With Simon getting some early leads there, he's going to keep that lead going into East 2. Looks like he got a whole lot.
Oh,
We're
I
looking
bet
at
Korak
Korak.
loves this hand.
Oh, yes. This has Korak written all over it. We're going to see him really go to town here with this hand. With that Anko over the reds, you got a sequence of the Manzu. Looking like an
Dora
Ipeko, even. 2 Dora. You said Baimon?
I said 2 of the Dora 5-mon.
Oh, 5 Mon. Okay, it's like that seemed kind of lofty to me, but he's already 10 Pi waiting on the 6 Mon.
Oh, this is dangerous, especially for June across the table. Oh, but that 4-mon draw, you had the 2-6, you had 2 tiles that were 4 apart, and when you draw into the middle of that, you have a Ryoncon. So all of a sudden, that's a beautiful shape. And Korak switching the weight, now waiting on the 5-mon and the 8-mon, maybe sensed that all of the 6-mon had just gotten tightened up. If Simon decides to toss away this 8-9 Pinchon, which at the moment does not look likely, as Simon currently could get either Junchan or a 7-8-9 Sanshoku, but the 8 is going to come out of Lucas's hand. Oh,
Wow.
7,700.
That's a quick dealer strike there. That's going to be a lot of points to almost take the lead here. But more importantly, you've got the dealership. You can keep going here. And he's already starting this hand with another Dora. More to follow, I'm sure. Got an Anko of the Souths right now. That's not the seat wind or anything. You've got some other pairs as well. This hand could go many different ways. Anko of 8s now. Possible Toy. You got to start wondering, perhaps.
Yeah. Lucas going Atazuke incredibly early. I guess this could still... no, that's a 7-8-9. It's a chi. So, yes, Lucas going Atazuke very early here has a pair of the Easts, has the complete 5-6-7 so just needs to find another pair and will be pretty close to complete to try and end Korak's dealership. Although Korak going in
pick up 2 Dora on the way out.
Oh, you're right. I totally missed that.
That's where he's going to get his value from. He's counting on, though, that other East coming out at some point. As we can see over in, that's not Simon, that is Jun's hand over there. Got a pair of it there. But Korak's going Ricci already.
An incredibly interesting decision here. So Korak could have called Ricci discarding the 3-so and would have been waiting Kanchan on the 4-so for Ricci Dora 1. That's it. But instead elected to discard the Dora. So if Korak wins on Ron, this will be a slightly less valuable hand because it will be Ricci Nomi. However, if Korak is able to sumo either the 3-so or the 8-mon, that will be Sun Anko, which will be 2 more Han. So for the opportunity to get 2 more Han, Korak discarded the Dora. And that with one of the 3-so already being discarded. Oh, and we're going to see a Khan here for sure. And flips the 8-mon as the Dora. Rewarded for all decisions here.
And there's the 8-mon drawn. I doubt that's going to get dropped, though.
It fits into Jun's hand, so there's now only 1 tile for Korak to draw if Korak is to get this San Anko. Otherwise, we'll need Simon to discard the 3-so or Jun to discard that 8-mon.
It's an incredible turn of events there for sure. I was about to ask if you're in Korak's situation, do you wait for a sumo even if somebody drops your tile? But at this point, you've got great value either way. So...
yeah, I would not have waited for a sumo with a Shenpon wait. It's not like... I mean, Korak definitely needs points, but Korak is not desperate. Korak just needs to do well. It's not like Korak needs plus 80.
And as dealer, again, you get another shot to continue amassing those points. We'll see how this goes here, though. Waiting on a dwindling wall.
Yeah, Lucas still fighting. Is playing some clever Mawashi, trying not to deal in, but also does not want to give up. Oh, there's the 8-mon.
Oh, no.
It's Dora, so Lucas is going to be wary of this. However, if an East comes out, I feel like Lucas probably calls it, because that would be a Mangon Tenpai, what with having 3 Dora and all.
We had a Dora called on the left by Simon. Looks like he's going for an open Tanyao here just to shut this madness down.
Waiting on the 6-peen.
6-peen there would win it for him and disarm these hands that are getting scarier by the minute.
There's one 6-peen in each of the hands at the table. So that would also have to be dealt into.
But they're all pretty well tied up in those hands, so I don't see that coming out.
I think Navitas is folding. Lucas discarded the pair of 6-0. Up, has drawn another pair. Yeah, it is just tossing it right back in. Lucas it is no longer worth the Mongon for Lucas here. There's just way too much danger at the table with that dealer Ricci and the new Dora that you can't see anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna play this down to an exhaustive draw and
good God, if Lucas calls this, he'll deal in. Oh no! Oh, he doesn't. He calls it and then discards the safe 1-peen. Is just trying to make someone else deal in.
Oh, yeah, that's one way you could do it. At this point, though, Korak and Simon will be picking up the no 10 penalties there.
Yeah, there was a chance.
Continues.
To talk about what Lucas just did, there was a chance that you discard the 1-p that's safe, and if the East comes out, you could still call it and discard whatever it was that was in your hand that wasn't the 8-mon, the 3-peen, I think it was. Or maybe not. Was that part of the chi? Yeah, discard whatever it was that wasn't the Dora in your hand, and then you still end up Tempai at K10, but whew, that's an interesting play.
Yes, and speaking of interesting, we got Korak starting off with a Dora in the hand, but it's kind of the weakest link in this already very quickly growing hand here. You have the sequences, you got the Anko of the 8-so, which could also be a pair in a sequence, and a pair of the West as well. That's going to turn to something very quickly here. Simon, though, early on called the Hatsu, and that's already a Yaku for him, and in the lead, he can easily run that through real quickly and end this dealership of Korak right now.
And June, thinking about taking this pawn of the Chun, and discarding the 1-so.
And with that hand, you could go for a Honitsu if you want. Especially picking up that 1-peen.
That certainly helps. We'll see what June decides to discard. Oh, and is pushing hard for it, discarding the 4-6 shape. I normally, when I'm trying to make that decision, discard the 5-so first, so that if I draw the 5-mon, I haven't hurt my efficiency too much. But June, another person who needs about plus 300 to get out of demotion. So, obviously going to need to go for value.
That's true. This is my first time kind of glancing over at that leaderboard here. Yeah, June is really hurting in this right now, but again, getting some good points now will make things much better later on, and you can certainly do that with this hand. But there's the 2-so and the Roan from Korak.
Yeah, just going to take that 3100, gets the Ricci stick back, as well as the 2 Honba, and now we are on to repeat 3. Korak trying to pour it on here, although hasn't made any huge hands yet.
Incredible. Well, Korak continuing his dealer here. The Dora is 6-so, and again, we see one of those in Korak's starting hand. It's got some sequences that could fit into, perhaps. Got a lot of things that could fit into, in fact. Picking up another sequence there with the 1-2-3-peen. Similar story over on the right there with Navitas. Got a sequence of 1-2-3 and a 3-4. And some sequences of the Pinzu as well. Got that pair of Chun as well.
Yeah, Navitas still is Ishanten here, keeping the 6-mon over the lone 9-so as it's a little bit more efficient.
Over across, we have Jun looking for some value here. You've got a good honors presence. You could go really any way if you wanted to go for a Itsu of some sort. Looks like you might be favoring the Sozu there. Then again, you need to drop the 1 early on, so could be going for something else entirely.
And then Simon on the left has a pair of his seat win, the Yakuhai North, but it is Lucas getting the Tempai first. calling Ricci on the 3-so, is waiting just on the 7-pin. That is Ricci only.
7-pin, yes.
There are 2 7-pin in hands. The other 2 are in the wall. The 7-pin does not fit into June's hand. The does fit into Simon's.
Mm-hmm.
So more likely for June to drop it than Simon.
You're in June's situation. You kind of have to just go with wild abandon and just try anything at this point. Just pushing. I'd push in most cases in this situation, since you have to make up that deep deficit.
Oh, Korak just called Ricci waiting. I looked away for the Twitch chat for just a second, and Korak calls Ricci waiting on 4-so, 7-so for Ricci Pinfu Dora 1.
Of course, the 7-so making Akko, but Apatsumo!
Ricci Apatsu Sumo Pinfu Dora 1 and no Ura. So that will just be with big air quotes around it, a dealer Mongon for Korak, bringing in the 12,900 plus 2 Ricci sticks.
And the lead. He takes the lead now.
Has a commanding lead, yes.
Oh, and a commanding hand. Look at this. Well, you've got an Anko of the Souths, not your seat wind or the round win at this point, but with that there, you can really turn this hand into really anything else you want, perhaps. Favoring one of the suits, going for Itsu. Interesting to see what he does with this.
You might have to race Navitas here. Navitas with a pair of Hatsu. I would not be surprised if Navitas went Atazuke. This is not a great hand, but there's 4 Honba on the table, and you cannot afford even a really bad third you don't want. I mean, you can recover from it with 3 more Hanchan to go, but you really want to fight if you're Lucas. Although it's still East 2. I kind of forgot that. I mean, it's been so long. Simon had 1 repeat, and Korak's now had 4. We've almost played an entire Tonpusen in just the first 2 dealerships.
Almost played a ton. Really, it's been a Tonpusen in just Korak's dealership at this point. With that.
Oh yeah, and East round only has 4 hands, doesn't it? I was thinking of a Hanchan. Wow, I'm dumb, but that's fine.
No, I get your point though. It'll be a Hanchan here pretty quickly. Taking a look at Simon's hand, he's got the sequences forming up there in the Sozu, and got an Anko of the 6. That can go for some quick points, or really just a quick disarm even. Oh, should point out too, that's 2 Dora with the 4-so. So not just a disarm, that's going to be quite some tidy pointage there.
Navitan calls the Haku and is now Ishanten. Has 2 Ryanmen, so should fill that pretty quickly. Could even pawn the West, I don't know, just for style points if you wanted, although I don't see Lucas doing that. And although I guess if it skipped Korak's dealership at some pivotal moment, it might be worth it. And oh boy, look at Simon's hand. Probably, as Crow said, discarding the Hatsu, like not seeing the chance for all green at the very beginning, and isn't going to push for it here. I mean, you're 5 Shanten.
That would be way too much. And this is a very respectable hand. I mean, you're going to get all kinds of points. That's going to help you get your lead back. That's what Simon's thinking right now.
Oh, denies the Ishanten for Chitoy. Could have kept that 3-pin and would have been 1 away there. Lucas getting the Chi, now waiting on 3-pin and 6-pin. We see 6 of those, so there's still 2 in the wall.
Each.
And now we have the Ricci for June, waiting on the 3-mon and the 6-mon. That is Ricci only. Ricci Tanyao. When a hand doesn't have terminals or honors in it, it can't be just a Ricci, because it's all simples.
This is true. And lots of points there. We have a lot of very nice hands.
Wow.
This one.
Ishanten for Suwanko for Simon.
Wow.
If Simon gets to Tenpai for the Suwanko, though, that will deal in. Wait, no. The 3-so was their weight. That was the Peiko.
Yeah, it was. But that's exactly what you need to start striking back at Korak here, ending his dealership as well, and moving things on to Navitas, who is having some trouble here in this game starting off. With only 3,100 points. Still, though, plenty of game left to play. Korak calling an early Hatsu. That'll get his Yaku locked away, and he can go for what looks to be Honitsu. In
Yep.
fact, I think that's exactly what he's going for.
Is
Let's
Ishanten already? Although not Ishanten for the Honitsu, or I guess isn't Ishanten. Left the Ishanten by discarding those other tiles.
Mhm.
Now is Ishanten once again for just Hatsu only. Korak would benefit a lot from winning a cheap hand to just skip Navitas's dealership.
Just keep fourth place in fourth. As savage as that is, but taking a look at Navitas's hand, he's got the Dora right now of the 6-mon, and two good-looking pairs of East and White. Again, East would give you 2 Han right off the bat, so he's probably going to hang on to that a good long while and see what he can do, but we already have
Almost
10
gonna
pie with
deal in
Korak,
on
and
this
he deals
block.
right in.
Yeah, the 9-so West was a great Shanpon weight for Korak, so that's going to be Hatsu Dora 1, and more importantly for Korak than the 2,000 points, it ends Navitas's dealership.
Yeah, it just keeps this game speeding along. As I think somebody has made a clip of this, of me saying in an earlier broadcast, you got the loot, now you gotta get to the shoot. Which I still don't know why took off. That's an incredibly stupid saying. But anyway, East 4. The Dora is 4 pin, and we see one of those in the dealer's hand right now in Shinraku. And some good sequences there that can definitely make use of that. I would say Sanshoku, but the Sozu aren't really doing it there. I don't think you try to make that out of nothing. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, might just get your classic Menton pin with that hand. Get your Richi Sumo Pinfu, all simples if you can pull in the 6-so. Great hand on the right for Simon. That 7-so draw makes it even better. The only issue, like your Sozu are great. The only issue really is the Manzu. That 8-9 really awkward.
Well, the Pinzu, you got a 3 and a 6. I mean, at least with the Manzu, you have some opportunities to fill that in for a sequence. But the Pinzu are just 2 bumps on a log there. Or I should say 9 if you counted up all of the circles. But we've got a Ricci over on Navitas's side. 5 and an 8.
And this is actually Ricci Pinfu, no Dora, but on the 5-so, this will be Sanshoku.
Very interesting
5, 6,
there.
7.
Yeah. So now Shinraku, thinking about how to respond to this, drops the 8 pin. He's pretty close to a 10 pie himself. In fact, he is 10 pie now, right as I say that.
Waiting on 6-so, 9-so for Ricci Pinfu. On the 6-so, it will be Tanyao.
The latter end of the Sozu starting to look really scary. In fact, all of the Sozu looking scary. You barely see any of them on the discards right now, except for the 1.
There's another 5 for Simon, which would deal into Lucas. So for Lucas, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 of his tiles in hand. So 4 left in the wall. For June, oh, there it is. Draws that 8-so. So Ricci Pinfu, or no, just Ricci Sumo. Oh, he was North, so that wasn't Pinfu. I always miss that one.
Yeah, that's always that kind of loophole in Pinfu rules there, but that's going to give him 6,000 points that he desperately needs right now, giving him some positive momentum heading into the South round. The Dora is the Red Dragon, so we'll see if that can... We do see 1 over on Navitas's hand, but looking at the dealer right now, you've got some pairs. That Hatsu looks nice. Picking up a sequence there with that 5, 6, 7. That's some work, but you can turn that into something, especially as dealer. Just a little something.
You're only 8,000 behind Korak, so it'd be pretty easy to catch up if you could get a couple... 1 or 2 repeats or just 1 big hand right now off the bat, especially since Korak hand does not look very good at all.
All you need is a Mongon, and you can get that real easy if you collect the other 2 tunes at this point, which he's got 1. So, and the other ones are just singles in the other hands, though, so he would have to draw the next one and then call on somebody discarding it before that happens, so... Pretty
June
difficult.
with the nice hand to the left has 2 complete sequences and then 2 Ryanman pairs, as well as the Nakabukure inside of that 6, 7, 8. So this is a very wide 2 Shanten, I believe.
Yes, very interesting there. Looking at the hand across, Lucas has some sequences happening there. 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4. Sozu needs a little bit of work, but that can turn into something. We do see the tunes dropping now, so no Dora pawns there.
Lucas, being in a bit of a hole right now, still holding out hope for the Dora Tonki. We do have June calling a Ricci, that's what that thing's called, on the left. And this is a wildly wide weight. You can win on the 1 Mon, the 3 Mon, the 4 Mon, the 6 Mon, or the 7 Mon. A win on the 1, 4, or 7 would be Pinfu. A win on the 6 or 3 would just be Tanyao. So we have Ricci, and then maybe a Tanyao if you win on the 3, 4, 6, 7. Pinfu if you win on 1, 4, 7. Pinfu and Tanyao if you win on the 4 or the 7.
Interesting there. We saw Simon pick up the 4th Hatsu there, decides to throw it right back, knowing that it is a guaranteed safe tile at this point. Or just about guaranteed, but only a few fringe cases where that would be dangerous. And continues, looks like he's still trying to build this hand out, though. Everyone's hanging on to the Manzu here.
There are only 5 tiles left in the wall for June to draw, interestingly enough, as we see everybody's hands are like flashing red. Even though there was like a potential 20 tiles, I mean -3 because you're holding them, but there's only 5 left in the wall. The one
there's the one!
Oh!
Decides to call it. Pick up, I believe you said that's not quite the maximum of this hand could go?
Not quite, because the 4 Mon and the 7 Mon would have been the Takame because you would have had Pinfu and Tanyao.
Right.
As it was Ricci, Pinfu, and then Ura 1.
Sadly, that is Lucas who has to pay that, putting him back further into 4th, but there is a dealer turn coming up for him, so all is not lost yet. Korak, meanwhile, already making a call. 9 Mon for this hand that's looking to be perhaps Yun-chan. Yeah, I was about to say. And yep, that's definitely a step in that direction. We see Lucas calling in response, though. Picking up 3 Pinzu there could go for a Honitsu in his hand.
Yeah, I'm really wondering Lucas angling here maybe to snipe Korak a little bit. Korak pushing hard. Oh, is not going to hold on to that 2-3 so because of the Honitsu. But I mean, Korak has said before, when you are in a big lead, although second place is very close to him, he likes to just dig in his teeth harder. And that's obviously what he's doing. This is some of the most aggressive calling I've seen.
And check out
5-pin wait for Navitas now.
But it's all for good reason. I mean, take a look at Jun's hand up there. He's knocking on the door of a pure straight, even a Chunitsu, perhaps, if you drop that north. That could be something pretty big here very quickly.
I imagine Lucas is going to win this hand first, though. That South can't stay in Simon's hand for long, although you might be playing defense against a possible Chanta from Korak. Korak now has Tempai, but it is not a Yaku Tempai.
Right, because that 5-so is just kind of sticking in there. He's going to drop it, though, to pursue it, perhaps. It's going to get called, though. Looks like he's leaving the straight idea behind, just going for pure Chinitsu here.
Now we have Chanta Tempai for Korak. This is a hell weight on the Chun. So Simon's stuck here. Simon sees the Honitsu across the table and the Chanta on the right. Oh my god! Gets it! Full flush, defeating the Honitsu and the Chanta. Simon playing fantastic defense. Just absolutely beautiful defense to keep both Lucas and Korak from claiming those hands. You've gotta hand it out to him. And good job by June to chase that Chinitsu and grab almost 30K.
Incredible, and you can very easily cross that threshold in this or the next hand. Meanwhile, we go to Lucas's final dealer turn here with 200 points, looking to really grow that. You know, I was in a similar situation to this the other night, but you know what? Never give up. You can punch your way there, too. Taking a look at this hand, I see a lot of speed here. A good sequence with the 2-3-4 so. pair, already calling another sequence. Yeah, you can go for a quick Tanyao here, maybe even Yakuhai if those happen to align, but Tanyao is definitely the faster option here, I would say.
Unfortunately, you're racing Korak, who already has his seat wind. Korak Ishan 10 for pay only. Could still incorporate the Dora 7mon, which Lucas, of course, is holding on to one, hoping to draw near it.
It's like last time, looking to just push things past Navitas here. And looking at this score, I'm pretty sure that would get him out of the demotion zone pretty easily. With points to spare. I have a call of the Haku now by Shinrako, Jun. And it looks like he'd be going away. Go for a few things there.
Chi.
Yep, they're calling the 789 of the Chi there. Simon's hand also forming up pretty nicely here. You've got 5 pairs, rather. So Ishan 10 for Shinitsu. No, that's not it. Chitoitsu. Another syllable in there.
Korak changing up the Ishanten a little bit, accepting the pair of 7-so, so now he can call Pon on the 8-mon or the 7-so should they come out of someone's hand. And that Pon, though, is going to get Jun to Tenpai, waiting on the 3-mon and the 6-mon for Haku only.
Very interesting. 6-mon, 3-mon, Tenpai.
And now we have that Pon of the 8-mon from Korak as desired, now waiting on the 4-mon and the 7-mon. The 7-mon is Dora. And it comes out
immediately
of
comes
Lucas's
out.
hand. Every time Lucas has had a tile and held onto it, someone has entered Tenpai right when it was time for that tile to leave Lucas's hand. Oh, that's absolutely tragic. And Jun, of course, also not happy about that, was Tenpai with, all the points that they needed to get over 30K, and just, Korak got there first.
Good news is, you've got dealership on all last. This game doesn't end until you say it does. And looking at this hand, you've definitely got some pull here. You got a pair of 5s and a pair of 8s, a 6 and 7 between them. I think that's a pretty easy call to go for an Itsu with those, but other things can happen with your Manzu and your Sozu. Like that.
Yeah, especially now that you've completed the 6, 7, 8 shape. This might just end up being a quick reachy hand. Hopefully, Pinfu, if you're able either to create another shape and get rid of that 1, 2-so, or just draw the 3-so.
2 pins the Dora, though. That would fit nicely into the dealer's hand, and there's one over in Simon's hand as well. It's sitting okay in there. A 3 would help bring that in, but you've got some good Sozu shapes there as well. A sequence completed. And another sequence completed with that pickup, in fact. Dropping the 1, looking like not wanting to go for the Manzu there. Looking across, we have a couple sequences as well, or rather just one sequence and a pair, but we're getting close with another sequence there in Korak's hand. Anko of the Reds, though, in Navitas's hand. That would be a good way to get yourself above 0, but...
I mean, just can't get any value out of it. You can incorporate the Dora 2-pin, but that's still not going to be worth much. I mean, something's better than nothing.
Mitigate the damage at this point.
I am surprised that Lucas hasn't opened. I mean, I know that you need value, but the easiest way to get more in the hole is if Jun's able to get above 30,000. By winning a fast hand, even if it's only worth, say, 1,500 points, or, 1,000, you prevent Jun from getting above 30K and effectively taking another 5,000 points from you, because minus 20 UMA is going to hurt a lot more than minus 15, especially since you're already in a precarious situation.
Absolutely. So trying to put an end to this, everyone's reaching for the stop button, but Jun is reaching for the repeat button.
Yes, slamming down on the give me Honba.
Yeah, the Honba dispenser, if there is one at this table.
Each.
And we have a Ricci now, Tenpai from Simon, picking up a good 6-so. He's going to drop the 2-pin and be Tenpai now for the 3 or the 6. One of which is called in that 1, 2, 3 Chi.
Yeah,
From
Korak just wanting to break Apatsu there. A lot of reasons to do so. You don't want Simon getting extra value and passing you, so you call Chi to make sure that even if Simon is the sumo right now, it's not enough.
チロン
Oh, but he's gonna call it and then drop the 3-pin, and that's gonna be it. Sadly, dropping him further below 0, but not by too much more. Still, though, he's gonna have to eat a negative 48.8 there. That will send him further down, I believe. Well, maybe looking at about a place down. Yep, there we go. The leaderboard has updated. June, on the other hand, losing only 5, but that's only making their deficit that much worse. But Korak coming away with 50,000, plus 35. He's out of the demotion zone now with plenty of room to spare. Well, actually, look at those point values. Really not out of the woods yet. Simon also picking up a tidy 19.1, putting him in a much safer position. But we've got 3 more games here. Anything can happen. I mean, you
Yeah,
could send
I mean-
Simon to the Shadow Realm with that.
Neither Simon nor Korak are at all safe by any stretch of the imagination, but you definitely have to feel a lot better. You can breathe a little bit easier. You might be you can take a couple okay thirds and still be fine. But this is still going to be tense as they get into the second game. They have not started
Mhm.
yet. The B1 B2 playoff match, which started the same time this match did, has ended as well. Dakota took first in that match with a plus 25.4. Joe took second with a plus 6.8. Matthew took third with a negative 16.1, and Christopher took fourth with also a negative 16.1. Matthew and Christopher tied for third, which means they
Interesting.
split the negative 20 UMA between themselves. So a very, very interesting match must have just occurred over on the other side, as it were.
Mm-hmm. We can take a look at the playoff standings.
Yeah,
It'd be pretty neat. But
while you do that, I'm going to duck away for just a second. I'll be right back.
Sure. Thank you for joining us. Of course, we'll be bringing you this A1 match in just about 5 minutes. I'd imagine everybody in that table needs a break after some pretty cutthroat mahjong there. Of course, while you're waiting, go ahead and hit that follow button. Be notified when we go live again for this end of season action. And of course, when we start up in a couple of weeks for the next season coming up. Our summer league is getting started. And of course, thank you to everybody who signed up, and we definitely look forward to covering your matches and competing with you as well. So definitely, if you want a piece of this action, we are going to have an autumn league, of course, so be on the lookout at americanreachy.org for when those signups go live. If you want to compete with some of the best people in the country here in the game of Riichi Mahjong. Yeah, so shout outs to everybody there. Looks like, actually, I'm just getting word the A1 game had some technical difficulties, so we'll be waiting a little bit longer on that. If we want to take a look at any other games right now. But otherwise, it's a great night out there. Thanks for coming out, chat. See a lot of support for Lucas in that last game. Bred some mucus for Lucas. Spam this mucus to help Lucas, is what our Remy Fool is saying. He is our broadcast coordinator, I believe. But doesn't look like anybody took you up on that, sadly. But yeah, kind of a... Lucas definitely has a chance to come back, I'd say, as soon as these technical issues come out. But, yep. Looks like the technical issues are getting sorted out now, and they're trying to start the game again. So we'll be bringing you that hopefully in the next 5 minutes or so. Of course, you can follow us here at right here on twitch.tv/AmericanReachy. You can also find any of these previous things on our YouTube channel. I put what should be the link there. Yep, there you go. tinyurl/ARMLYT to follow us on YouTube and see any of these matches you might have missed. I believe we've got everything from the start of the season, so you can follow a player through, see how they've triumphed and not so triumphed. You can see me, even, if you want to watch me play some games. I don't know why you'd want to, but there you go.
It's everyone's favorite thing to do, I believe, Blaine. Just like, if you look at like the viewer count, like right now, this is just a puny A1 stream, only 39 viewers. But whenever it's you at the table, we have at least 3,000.
Really?
Yeah. Not even joking.
I'm just gonna. I don't think we need to look up that and verify it, but there you go. You can also see Tucker as well. He competes on a much higher level than I do, so definitely send some views his way. I mean, their way.
Well,
So.
I'm demoting here soon, so.
Well, I might too. I mean, I did secure a pretty steady second in my playoff matches that y'all might have seen on Sunday, and the other two are on this coming Sunday. So we'll see if I can hang on to that. I mean, I was just thinking preservation here, preservation. So we had that one pretty big performance. I knew I wasn't going to catch him, but we'll see.
Well, Simon and Arthur here are going to be thinking about life preservation as well.
That's right.
Simon's the last dealer. There's a lot of argument about whether, like, how helpful that is really with Agariyame. With no Agariyame, so the dealer cannot end the game by winning or by being Tenpai End in first. It makes it a little bit fairer, so that tends to even things out.
Mm-hmm.
And this table, we have a 5 Dan at R1959 with Simon, a 7 Dan with Korak, R2046, and then another 5 Dan with Lucas, R1924. Like, this is one heck of a table.
Yeah, I believe Korak was, speaking of Tenno rankings, he was one of the first to make the Phoenix distinction, the Phoenix tables in the
From
US.
the United States, yes. First to make Ho-Oh, one of.
Ho-Oh, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, Korak has quite the decorated Mahjong record.
Absolutely.
As things go. A very well-known and respected person in the community.
Mm-hmm. But as you can see here on the rankings, that doesn't necessarily mean you have a guaranteed win here at this A1 division. I mean, it's been, as you said, pretty cutthroat. That cut line's only, I think, gotten lower since the last game. Negative 8.7. Yeah, I guess that's a little bit higher, but
Every single player in A1 is a actual monster from like the original Grimm fairy tales.
So, what would they all be? Like Korak would be the big bad wolf, perhaps?
No, Korak is definitely the witch who tries to get Hansel and Gretel.
Ah,
like definitely.
I can see that.
I have no questions about that. I think Lucas. No, Lucas can't be the big bad wolf. I think of Huang as the big bad wolf. He just puts together these wildly expensive hands out of nowhere that I never expect anyone to go for, and just kind of blows everything to pieces. So I think Huang would be the big bad wolf. Who else can we think of? Those are the only two I have. Oh, isn't like the Piper who like gets the children with his flute? Isn't that a Grimm fairy tale?
I'm not sure that's a Grimm, but I see your point. I mean, someone should be that in this analogy we're going with here.
either Jeremy or Eric, since they do some commentary and streaming here. They're kind of bringing everyone along with them. Eric gives a lot of advice. We'll say Eric, because of how helpful he is the Pied Piper luring the children away with his flute.
Yep. I got to attend one of his review sessions. Actually, I had one of my games looked at by him pretty early on in the season, and definitely changed the way I looked at this game. So Definitely a lot of knowledge there. But there's the gong. We are getting started here. Game 2 of this A1 Round 6 match. The door is 7 mon to begin with, and check out that hand opening by Shinrako Jun there. Got a pair of it already and some good sequences in the Manzu. You could turn that into something pretty fierce pretty early on. But we already have a call to the east by Korak. He's putting his foot on the gas, getting started right away. Check out that hand. Lots of Manzu. Only a couple of Sozu to discard, and you're on track for a Honitsu of some sort.
Is Korak going to push it here, or is he? Yeah, the Haku and the Hatsu are both one. Now the Hatsu's twice cut. So I feel like Korak will probably favor efficiency over the Honitsu, while the honor tiles in hand are bad. If he draws another Manzu, I bet we see those Sozu go away. But for right now, at least, just taking the efficient route is now Ishanten with that 7-8-9 Chi.
Gonna call his way to a pretty quick end for this match. For this hand.
And look at the draws for June. June, everything outside of Manzu was an absolute disaster and has just had perfect draws. Is now Ishanten, a very wide Ishanten, as a matter of fact.
Wow, that is pretty incredible. Another pwn called by Korak, though. That's what you're racing against. That's the pace here.
Jeez, Korak just going after it, discarding the 4/5 so on that 8th Mon pawn.
Wow.
Doesn't have
he can go for Chinitsu now if he wants to. I mean...
Honitsu.
You're right.
Yeah, it's very obviously pushing forward at this point. You don't make a pawn like that without wanting the Honitsu. I mean, it's in the Dora suit, so you're really wanting to get another 7 Mon. I mean, we can see that that's probably not going to happen as there's only one left, but... Lucas on the right could catch up pretty easily, though, with, having more tiles in hand usually makes it more efficient. That was Tenpai for June, but does not take the Ricci. Could have called Ricci, discarding the 6-peen, and then would have been waiting just on the 8 Mon, but the 8 Mon is dead. So, you know what?
Right.
That would have been bad. So I see why June didn't do it.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how people respond to this just like quick calling. Reminds me of the Silver Room on Mahjong Soul, but he's got a good strategy along with it here.
Ooh, now we have Tenpai. Ooh, taking Dama, waiting on the one. Wait, hold on. You could win
I think
on
it's
the
just the 5 or the 8 here.
Yeah, the 5, just the 5 and the 8. You are correct, because the West is the pair. I always forget about Wests. Could take the Katagiri, not really Katagiri, but Tadashi Ricci here doesn't, is staying Dama. I mean, this is Pinfu, and you've got 2 Dora, but the 8s are all gone. June just really not wanting the bad weight. Just the 5 isn't fantastic. And you can win Dama on the 5, so it's not like you're going to miss out on the value. And you can draw any lower Manzu to improve this weight.
Absolutely there. But as we've seen, people are pulling off these fringe weights right out of the wall. Someone's Tenpai on the south. Korak's Tenpai on the south.
Yeah, I've completed that 2-3-4 shape.
That's a pretty sneaky weight, I gotta say.
Yeah, especially since none of the souths have been cut, which is pretty wild. There's still 3 souths in the wall. Ooh, draws the 5, so surely discards the 2 instead.
I would think so.
I mean, the 5 says in the Dora shape. Well, he's probably thinking about discarding the south. I doubt he discards the 5. It's probably either the south or the 2.
Right. Yeah, you drop the south, now you can win on the 2 or the 5, so that just helps your hand even more here.
The problem is Korak knows that none of these players are discarding a Mon. Like once you Tadashi the south like that, it's obvious that you've switched your weight to probably a Mon tile, and no one's gonna ditch it. And now with that 2 Mon discard, I mean, I would be absolutely shook if Simon discarded the June at this point. And now June with another change of weight, now waiting on the 6 Mon or the West. Discarded the safe 2 Mon to keep the Tenpai here.
That's true, yeah. Sorry, yeah, that was a quick weight change. Kind of threw me off a little bit, but we're winding down this hand here. Doesn't look like anyone's going to get it, and there we go. Korak and June, though, picking up the no-10 payments.
Yeah, they were kind of choking each other out with those Manzu. And you know what? That was a bad choice of words.
Well,
They
I
had
kind of picture it as like
Yeesh.
a wrestling match in there and
oh my
holds, but
god,
we got double Ricci.
for Lucas, 4-mon, 4-peen
Wow.
for Daburi Nomi.
Wow, and that 4-peen, I mean, you have no clues that it's dangerous right now, and that's the tile that's sticking out big time in Simon's hand, except maybe for that 1-mon. Oh, another 4-mon picked up from Jun as well.
So already there's only one tile left in the wall for Lucas to draw. But I mean, again, anybody could deal in kind of at any moment just because they have no clue what's dangerous.
We're seeing them start to get tied up here, like the 3-4 kind of works in Simon's hand now. They're playing very fast for, I guess they all just realize, you know what, let's just go, keep playing, there's nothing we can really do. If nothing's safe, then everything's safe.
Yeah, Korak is going to try to end this double Ricci. Oh, that is the final tile, and it fits perfectly into Jun's hand. Jun and Korak both very close here. Korak Ishanten, a very wide Ishanten, would be wider if it wasn't for that 5-7 Kanchan in the Sozu. And Jun, also Ishanten, actually.
Now I know what it looks like when I get one of those double Ricci's off and wonder why my tile just never comes up. It's stuff like this that happens.
Yeah, I know that this is bad form. I wouldn't have taken this double Ricci personally. With the weights being Chanpon on 4s, especially with that Manzu shape, it's so easy to draw an improvement. I mean, 5-mon's an improvement. I'm pretty sure 6-mon's an improvement. No, 6-mon's not, because the 8-mon would end up being the other part of the Champon, but...
Right, and at the end of the day, it's just one more Han we get.
Yeah, one more Han, but a better weight. If the better weight means everything.
If you went for the double Ricci, that's just one more Han.
Oh, yes. You're saying
if you give up that Han, give up that Han and try to go for a better weight, get some value elsewhere, perhaps. You know, you can make that back very easily. But it's as people are pointing out in the chat, shiny button, especially when that pops up right at the start, you're like, ooh, I can send this whole thing into disarray, but it's not seeming to affect Korak, who's pushing ahead regardless. Really, I see most people doing that in this hand. I think
there's more knowledge about what's safe at this point.
Right.
I mean, Jun, though, has been Ishanten. Jun and Korak both have been Ishanten for about 7 years and just cannot find Tenpai.
Absolutely. That 6-peen would help a little bit. So would this 7-mon draw from Simon.
Discards the 8-peen. Okay.
At this point, though, you're just making final drops, and there you go. Navitas getting the full... I mean, at the end of the day, it gives you 3,000 points, so...
But what's interesting is you might think that, the double Ricci scared Jun and Korak off, but they just really couldn't draw anything. Just horrible draws. There's no flow whatsoever.
Yeah, sometimes the wall just hates everyone. But anyway, we're moving on to East 2, where Navitas has the dealer. The Dora is 3-mon, and we see a good spot for that in this opening hand. 1, 2, 3 with the Pinzu. 1s and 2s for the Manzu. You could see a 2 for the Sozu as well. And some other misplaced odds there. We'll see how that grows. An early call from Korak to the 4, 5, 6. Just going to see what he'll go through here.
When I questioned Korak, do you think I should have gone Atazuke here? And Korak said, listen, if I'm not Atazuke, something has gone wrong. And he's kind of showing that off. Korak has been calling like an absolute maniac this round. I mean, I say maniac. There's been reason behind it. It hasn't been completely aimless, but
I mean, look at that call rate, 39.5. Only a notch higher than Simon's call rate, though, out of 44 games from this and the Beta League season.
And now we have Lucas going for the Junchan. Is Ishan
Yes.
10 for the Junchan here?
Mm-hmm.
Really needs to get that 3-mon or the 9-mon before getting the 8 peen. Otherwise, he could end up what's the word? Ferritin. There we go. Although if you draw the 8 peen, you can just discard the 2-mon and be fine. But you really like the Dora. Dora's good. Dora yummy.
Very much so. You've got one of them in hand and another one be perfectly right in there.
So,
Ooh, call this con. I don't think so.
I mean, it'd be fun.
Yeah. Con for flow, as the kids say.
Oh, and that's Tempai. Oh, not Tempai for Simon, because there's no pair. So, but Simon is now Ishan 10 for, what's the long one called? Itsu, a straight.
Itsu.
That's it. It's
Pure
now
straight.
Tempai for Pinsu,
Yeet.
Dora 1.
He's going to
Takes
call
it.
Ricci here. I believe you
Waiting
need
on the 1-mon and the 4-mon. Which,
1-mon
I mean,
and 4-mon. So
we
not going.
see almost all of them. There's only one 4-mon left in the wall.
Mm-hmm. Anko of the 1-mon in our dealer's hand here. And
this
yes,
is the
4 is called.
But this is now incredibly problematic. Since you've drawn in that 7-mon, if you were to say pull in the 8-mon or the 8-peen, you might discard the 1-mon to have the Kanchan wait instead of the Tanki, and you would deal in.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, that's kind of a dilemma.
Because
but...
and you know what? That's what Lucas would do because it'd be Junchan Sanshoku.
That's true. Yeah. Now, obviously, the safe route here would be to drop one of the 7s and hope you get one of the 9s that would go with them.
But I wonder how likely you are to do that. The 9-peen looks like a perfectly fine weight. The 9-mon, there's only one gone, but a lot of 7s discarded. And as a matter
that's
of
what he's
fact,
going to go for.
5-peen really doesn't. I mean, Pinzu look pretty expensive. There's not a lot discarded, especially.
Hang on, are we seeing a last-minute Itsu here?
No, not quite. This is just K10.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, it could be an Itsu. I mean, if Navitas draws the 4-peen or the 8-peen, I would not be surprised to see that 1-mon deal in.
Mm-hmm.
But has played pretty disciplined so far, pushing into this Ricci.
You have the 1-peen.
Yeah,
Gotta drop it back.
1-peen is close to the Ricci tile, but it passes.
Again, we're reaching the end of this here.
Yeah, Korak folded a little while ago.
After 2 pretty big Otozuke calls.
There's that 3-mon. Don't want to discard that.
Does anyway.
It does though. I mean, it's
Suji.
1500,
yeah.
It doesn't look horrible, really.
No, not really. I mean, hard to say how I'd play in that situation, but makes the right choice and stays dealer. We now have 3 Honba, 2 Ricci sticks in the pot. This is getting pretty big now, especially with the scores as close as they are. The Dora is north. And while we don't see that in this hand, in the opening dealer hand rather, we have some great stuff going on. A couple pairs, 3 pairs in fact, and a sequence.
Home.
All
we see a
form
from June, yep.
There you go. And he's got the Dora in his hand as well. Looking at a good presence of the Pinzu there. Could go for Itsu of some sort. And Navitas calling the 8s early.
Yeah, just trying to take a quick Tanya out. Is Ishan 10 already, so a very good hand, as you have already pointed out. It's going to take quite a lot for either Korak or Simon to catch up. Although Korak's hand not awful, other than that 8-9 Pinchan in pin.
Ishan 10 now for Lucas.
Perfect. Ishan 10.
Yes. Looking at Korak's hand, he's hanging on to that north. Has some sequences and other things forming up, though. And looking at Simon's hand, got some pairs of the Pinzu there happening. Trying to form the rest of it into something. We've got a sequence almost just about ready to go.
Tenpai for Lucas, waiting on 4-mon and 7-mon.
There we go, and we see those in that hand across. And one of them is off in Korak's hand, and that's not likely to come out. It's sitting fairly nice in there, especially with a possible Ipeco. 9 pins called by Simon. Sorry, not Simon, that's Jun. Looking closer to that Honitsu here.
And immediately draws what would have completed that 7-8 so shape.
Oh, there you have it. Interesting there.
Mahjong's like a very sophisticated bully, is what I've decided, personally.
The wall specifically, I would say.
I guess the wall is like a synecdoche for Mahjong as a whole. Korak shifting around after drawing the deal-in tile there. We'll see how long he's able to hold on to that 7-mon. And now we have the open for the Tanyao for Simon. Gotta discard something.
All these hands open except for Korak now. Which is odd considering what the rest of this game has brought us.
Korak just doesn't have any clear paths to an open Yaku. And with every... there's Tenpai for Honitsu Toi Toi.
Korak picking up another 7. East. Very nice. 1 or the 5 will win that hand. We see the 1 in Korak's hand. I was about to say he could drop that 1 and go for Tanyao, and the 9 he'd have to drop as well.
Sumo.
But there's the sumo
first. So 1 Han, 4,400 sumo because of all of the gold in the middle. The community chest has been opened and withdrawn from.
But we have 4 Honba waiting in there now, just because we've only really had just some repeats. I think that was our first hand that actually had a winner, if I'm not mistaken. I think we did have 1 others in East 1, but I could be wrong. But anyway, looking at Lucas's hand, we have a large presence of the Sozu right now, but some good pairs in the Pinzu. Go somewhere with that. The door is, of course, north once again, and we see 2 of those in Korak's hand. Looking to make good use of those. I have some sequences forming up there, and some odd Manzu tiles at the moment. We'll see what he does with those.
It'd be a great time to call Kita, but it seems like Tenho just won't let Korak do it. Jun has a pair of the Chun on the left, and a San Minchan in So. So very, very nice shapes.
Very nice.
2 away for Jun there. Would of course love to get that Yakuhai tile.
It would boost things up. Again, we're still pretty close game here. There's only 1 player above the 30k right now, but the other players can get there pretty easily, and all it would take is 1 win or even another exhaustive draw in their favor. But
Jun now discarding the pair of 1 pin. Got that pair of 6-mon, which is a little bit more upgradable if you draw around it. Does have 3 pairs in hand now. Which, as you get closer to Tenpai, you kind of want to avoid, but, at this stage, still being 2 Shanten, it's not bad. We see Simon tossing the 2-mon back. Doesn't really help. Want to keep the 7, 8, 9 Sanchoku alive. Although currently the 7 is your pair.
Yeah, same story for Lucas, and he seems to be favoring those pairs a little bit, but there's other things you could be thinking of doing with them.
Each.
We have Ricci, though, from Korak. Gonna keep those 2 norths as the pair, and looking for 4 So, 7 So to finish it.
Ricci Pinfu Dora 2.
Yeah, that would...
So a Mongon...
that would help that would help to break this game open and really start causing some separation, as we saw last game, rather.
Pinfu has a fairly reasonable chance at Ura. there goes the Dora out of Korak's hand. So people know it's safe now, so they won't be scared should they draw it.
Holding on to
June
that
discard.
3-so, these detecting the Sozu are a little dangerous looking at Korak's discards there.
The 6-peen was Nakasuji. The 3-peen and the 9-peen had already been discarded, making the 6-peen a little bit safer.
That is true.
Now discarding the 6-mon, which I don't know is probably Kabe. I haven't
Gee.
counted the 7-mon, but there's a lot of them out.
We have a call
is
by
this?
Lucas now, going for an open Tanyao.
This is Tenpai, but what do you throw?
Don't.
Oh, throws
Down the
chicken
7.
tile. Had multiple options in the so, but is going to deal into this Mongon for Korak. Because normally this would not quite be 8,000 points, but since we have, I always forget the Japanese word for it, Kitarage Mongon? It's something like that. We round up on those hands that are really, really close to being Mongon. So just a clean 8,000 plus the 1,200 Homba for Korak there from Lucas. And that unfortunately puts Lucas tied for last again.
Kiriage is everyone's saying in the chat, but yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. That's interesting. I've always wondered why I sometimes see a Mongon value round up just out of nowhere like that, so that's cool. Anyway, Korak takes the lead and the dealership. The Dora is 5. He's got one in hand. That 5, 6, 7 is going to fit perfectly in there. You also have some pairs with the Pinzu and the Sozu that can be turned into other things as well. Also, the Manzu. Got one Manzu there. Hanko of the 4s now. Things just keep getting better for Korak once again.
Yeah, Korak's got some incredible flow so far in these games. We do have, if you look across, June's been pulling in a lot of Yakuhai, has an Anko of the East, and already some good shapes in the Peen. Discards the 9-mon, what with drawing the 6-mon, so trying to upgrade the Manzu shape to incorporate the Dora 5-mon. Is June considering taking this Chi? Okay, does pass. I don't. Right. Could have taken it with the Anko of the East. You of course can open your hand. Does not elect to call Khan either.
Looking to squeeze a little more value out of this, I'd imagine. Even though you are 282, it's never too late to start. Well, I mean, when you're June, you need all the value you can. So again, that makes all the sense in the world. Keep this hand closed, play a little more conservatively, and cash in on some big stuff later on. I guess that's not really playing conservatively, but you know what I mean.
That's playing like an evil mastermind sitting in their lair and like twirling their fingers together as they laugh to themselves about all of the Homba and Ricci sticks they'll be eating later.
Yep. It looks like he's about to eat a nice pure straight there, though. Calling a third of it there. Looking for the 6, and there you go. Speaking of the 6, we see it off in Navitas's hand. That's part of a almost sequence. And some good presence in the Manzu, though. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Almost an Ipeco there.
And this is almost Tenpai for Simon. Ishanten now. With that 5-so draw. You'd really like to get the 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku here. So you'd like to get to Tenpai drawing the 5-peen or the 7-mon.
True.
The 8-mon isn't going to do it, but you probably still take your Ricci for Dora. Do you take the Champon on Dora? No. Throws the Dora out, is going to take Ricci Pinfu Dora 1, waiting on the 4-mon and the 7-mon. Could have chosen Ricci Dora 2 with Champon on the 1-peen and the 5-mon, but is going to take the better way and is rewarded with Ipatsu from Lucas. The 7-mon deals in. Ricci Ipatsu Pinfu Dora and gets an Ura. That will be a Mongon.
Very nice call there, dropping that right tile, and he'll get the dealership going into East 4 with 35,000 points.
This really hurts if you're Lucas. You were doing well, you had gotten your first, you collected all the sticks on the table, and then you instantly deal into two Pinfu Mongons consecutively.
It's a tough break, but we've still got plenty more game to play here. The Dora is 1 mon in this East 4 match. We see one of them in the opening hand from Simon. Also a pair of the 5s in both Manzu and Pinzu. And we see the 6 and the 7 of Sozu. That maybe turn Sanshoku, but there's a little work to do with that, I'd say.
A lot of pairs in June's hand, 4 to be precise.
Yes.
Draw one more pair and you start going for a Chitoy.
And there it
There
is.
it is. Although discarded the 9-mon. None of the 9-mon have been discarded. I very much like keeping the 9-mon around whenever I am going for Chitoy, especially because since I have the 3-mon and the 6-mon, it's more likely that, say, the 7-8 will be an incomplete Monzu shape in someone else's hand. And so, you don't want to deal the 9-mon in later while you're waiting for your bad weight Chitoy. So keeping that 9-mon around is pretty handy. Discarding the 6-peen, so moving towards the edge there at least.
There you go. Yeah.
Now 4 pairs for Simon. Although Simon's hand has better shapes in general.
Right. You could turn those pairs into plenty of different things. Especially if you want speed. I mean, you've got plenty of ways that can go somewhere very quickly. Take a look at Lucas's hand. He got an Anko of the 2 Monzu. K-weight on the 4 and the 6. Some sequences there in the Pinzu. And sequences there in the Sozu, rather. Got a lot riding in there right now.
Haku pair for Korak.
Oh yes, we haven't really looked at Korak's hand yet. He's got a Haku pair, a pair of the 8-so, and the sequence of the 6, 7, 8. 4, 5 that could turn to a sequence as well. Had it not been for that Yakuhai pair, he could go for Pinfu. But it looks like he's got the lead. He's looking for a way to, again, just like last game, kind of push this game forward as quick as he can. Things already went pretty slowly on both his and Navitas's dealerships. So we'll see what happens there.
Oh, another Anko for June.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, it's not quite Tenpai. No, it is Tenpai, waiting on the 4-so.
Tenpai waiting on the 4-so, yes.
For Ipeiko. But also Ishanten for a casual Suanko.
Just a casual Yakuman. Nothing stuffy or formal about it. But we got a reach from the dealer now. 8-so, 5-so are the weights here. The 5's making up that casual Suanko, as you put it, in June's hand. June would really enjoy a Yakuman at this moment, I think, out of anybody in the league. So
winning a Yakuman when you're really down in the dumps just makes you feel a little bit better about life.
Yeah, and a lot better about your prospects in this league right now, I'd imagine.
Unfortunately, doesn't get there. Can take Tenpai if they decide to deal in. Yeah. Oh, I guess you could discard the 3-so. The 3-so would be fine.
You could, yes. And that's exactly what it is.
Perfect. Good well done, June. I'm so proud. I mean, June's way better than me, so I don't really have any right to be proud of them. But I'm still proud of you, June. You did it. Good job.
Let's hear at the commentary table. There you go. You're going to pick up the No-10 payment as well as our dealer, Simon. So we go into a repeat here on East 4. 8-peen is the door at the moment. Our dealer hand, you've got the sequence of the 1, 2, 3, but that's going to be pretty difficult to convert with, though you do have some promise there. Say we see how this one goes. But take a look at that hand in, I believe you're about to talk about it, though, Shinrako. Already an Anko of the Chun.
I was going to say something dumb. The Anko of Chun and a pair of Souths is much more important than what I was about to say. The Souths are Mochi Mochi with Simon, though. They have 2 each.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I was just going to point out that you would have a Sanshoku if you combined Korak, Simon, and Lucas's hands. They each started out with a 1, 2, 3 in each of the 3 suits. Lucas has now tossed that away, though. But that was just something I noticed and thought was dumb and decided to say.
That's pretty neat. That should be a local Yaku sometime. In a
3-player local Yaku.
I don't know how the heck you would check for that, but anyway. Looking across Navitas, he's got a Ricci waiting on the 1 or the East. 1 Mon or East.
That's an incredible weight.
Mm.
Absolutely beautiful. Korak thinking really hard here about what to toss.
Mhm. We do have a Mochi Mochi with the East as well, though, so gonna be at loggerheads there, but there's still one Manzu out
Yeah,
there, but he
tosses
drops the
it.
East!
Yeah, the East. I mean, Korak wanted to push that hand. Wanted to keep fighting, and the East really isn't all that dangerous. The only way that the East deals in is if Lucas has like something like Chitoy waiting on East Tanki, or if Lucas has every single other East, which he did, and as it turns out, got 2 Ura.
Oh, wow! Would have gotten
my
3
goodness.
had he called the 1 Mon there, but that's still plenty of points. That's, it's not the lead, but it's a very close 4th.
Ricci Tone Ura 2 is a great way for Lucas to make a comeback here.
Oh, and that's exactly what he's poised to do. Heading into the South round now, the Dora is 9 Mon, and we're seeing some good things happening in the dealer's hand right now. That 5-6-7 Sozu. The pair of Souths is also nice. In fact, he can pawn that right now. There we go. And we have the 8 and the 9 sitting there waiting on a 7. We also have 2 Easts. Go ahead.
Still 2 away. I was just trying to do some Mahjong calculation.
There you go. Mahjong math from our math teacher here. Looking at Navitas's hand, he's got the 2 Easts, as I was mentioning. Also his pairs in the 3-pin, 6-pin, and some good sequences happening with the Manzu as well. Korak has a few... Well, he just picked up that 3 to complete a sequence there that could go either way. Also has a completed sequence in the Sozu. That's Tenpai. I should have noticed. But he's only for the 4-pin at this point. One's already been discarded.
Yeah, Ricci Tanyao waiting on the 4-pin.
Interesting there. I mean,
Korak hates Dama, and he's sticking to his word here. Wants to put the pressure on.
Then again, you see his Ricci call rate is 19.9, factoring in the play from this season. I guess because he's gone more for calls is the only reason I could think that would be lower.
He's kind of had to. He's been at several tables full of people like Light Pink Yoshi is an example of someone who likes to call and make quick cheap hands in these league settings to put more pressure on people. So there's been a couple tables that Korak has been at similar in style to that's forced him to change the way he plays a little bit. June very luckily pulls in the 3-pin that keeps them from dealing in, and is now Tenpai waiting on the 2-pin and the 5-pin.
Very nice pickup there. And there's the 4-pin for Korak.
Ricci Sumo Tanyao, no Ura, but Korak's back over 30k.
Picking up 5,000 points there, moving us straight ahead into South 2, where we have our close 4th place, as I mentioned, Navitas, looking to make some jumps here with this hand. Got a couple pairs right out the gate, a 1 and a 3 Mon, got the sequence of 1, 2, 3, and 4, and some good developments on the Sozu side of things as well. Not a big points hand, but this could be a fast hand, depending on what the wall decides for you. Dora is 7, so we see that happening in Korak's hand. He's got that in a sequence already finished, and another sequence in the Manzu, which will also help speed things along. We also see a South and a Green, but check out Simon's hand. Anko of the 9-pin. You got pairs in 2 and 3. A lot of scary things that can turn into. It's maybe not the fastest, but it can still deal some damage here. And that comes off.
June's hand might be close to the fastest, is Tushanten with a pair of the tunes.
Let's see. Has a Dora there as well in that 5, 6, 7.
Tenpai for Lucas.
Ricci.
Calling Ricci on the 1 Mon, waiting on the 2 Mon and the fine Mon. This is Ricci Pinfu.
We see the 5 now getting drawn by Simon. Gonna hang on to it because that does fit pretty nicely. The other 5 also sitting pretty in Shinrako's hand, and also sitting pretty. The 2 is sitting pretty in Korak's hand. 5 would work just fine in there too, so not likely to get dropped by really anybody here at the table. Have to count on a Tsumo, I would imagine.
June pulling in the third tune is now Ishanten.
There you go. We got a lot.
Headless,
Yaku
though.
locked. Headless, yeah. The 4 pin would be great pickup there, but there's only one of those left in the wall.
No con. It's rare you see a diamond con in A1. So no con of the tune.
That would just turn the tables way too hard, I think, for if you gave somebody,
リーチ
just a sudden pawn of tiles here. We have Ricci called from Korak. This is we talked about how he wasn't calling Ricci that much. 5 mon, 8 mon to win.
Ricci Tanya Aldora 1.
スモ
So some
Oh,
dealing
there's the
cheap
5 on
hands,
Sumo.
but there it is.
Ricci
Picking
Sumo
up 3
Kenshin.
Han plus 2. Wow, Uradora coming
Real.
through. That's incredible. A dealer's Mongon plus whatever's in the pot, all those Ricci sticks. That's a great pickup there, and that's going to give him the lead with 39,000 points even. And the repeat here with South 2. 6-so is 7-so is the Dora. Navitas, feeling that momentum, calls the Easts immediately, and we could see him go for a Honitsu here, perhaps, with a good sequence completed in the Manzu. Got some others that you could go for in the other suits, but we'll see. Another Chun definitely helps too.
Could still get Chanta even.
That is something I didn't consider, of course, yeah. Though I would have dropped the 4-so in that case, but again, he might have other ideas. It's always different when you're the one making the moves at the table.
Yeah, I especially like the 8-so because it allows you to incorporate the Dora 7-so.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, that's another
for
good
that
point.
reason, it also is more dangerous later on in the hand.
So if you're going to go for a flush, you want to get rid of that now, because you're going to have to get rid of it sooner or later.
June, very close to an E2 in Mon, is only missing the 5 Mon, although the 4 Mon is the pair currently, so is 2 away for the E2. Ishanten for a normal hand.
Simon's working on an Ipeco up there, across with the 5, 6, and 7. Got a pair of the 8s as well, and a sequence in the Sozu. But look at June's hand. Look at all that Manzu happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's very close to a straight. And you got a 6, 7, and a 7, 9 in the Pinzu and Sozu, respectively.
There's the
Calling
Chun,
the Chun. So you've got 2 Han already visible on the board. It wouldn't take much to grab a flush. That kind of rhymes. Picks up the 3, 4. That's 10 pi for 2 and the 5-so.
There's still 5 of those in the wall.
Mm-hmm. And you'd get a good dealer repeat, and there's a 2. And of course you call it. Had it been Ricci, you would have gotten Ipatsu, but you don't need it. That moves up to 42,200.
It also would have been Chombo since Lucas was open. But it would have been fun.
Yeah. That's what this is all about, having fun, right?
You can't discount the fun factor.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, moving on to this second repeat, we have the pin is the Dora, and yeah, I think I get what you're oohing about. Check
6,
out that
7,
hand
8
across.
Sanshoku. No, I'm oohing at this. The 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku is very nice for dealer. I mean, it's not. I mean, I guess you could. It was called confirmed in the chat because of that 6, 8 Kanchan in pin. But you could still say draw the 7-so, which you're not going to turn down. It's too efficient. And in which case you wouldn't end up with a shape as 6, 7, 8 unless you drew another 6. So the Sanshoku not quite confirmed yet, but Lucas could certainly force it if he wanted to, though he doesn't need to since he's already in first. just kind of needs to get everybody below 30K. But why don't you talk about Simon's hand since
Yes,
you
that's
were
what I
calling
was oohing about. Check this out. You have a crazy, scary-looking Shinitsu, really, from this hand right now. It's almost looking like you're doubling up a flush, doubling up a straight there almost, but it's not quite there. You have the nines looking good there. I mean, 9 gates is the nines with the ones and then everything in between, right?
Yes, 3 1s, 3 9s, one of everything in between, and then one extra of any of the 9 tiles in the suit that you are getting the 9 gates in. Unless Simon pulls into the 9 gates really quick, though, it's going to be impossible to
And
to
there
get
goes
it.
the one so.
Yeah, there's too many 1-sos in Korak's hand. Although I wouldn't have hated a chi there. Like, I mean, I know it's already complete technically with the 1 2 3 2 3 4, but you need more shapes. So, but I mean, closed is better than
It
open.
gives you an extra Han, yes.
Is now Ishan 10 for
Yeah,
the
just,
close.
and there's the other so. So that's how close he was. That's still going to be a lot of points, though, if he pulls this off. That would be an easy shift to the lead, especially if you hit that off of Navitas. But a sumo would definitely help as well.
Chi.
That's Ipeko. Oh, he's going to call it, though. So no Ipeko there.
Chi.
2-so, 5-so is the weight for this.
Still calling the Tenpai. Still an instant Mongon. Just add water, or in this case, just add a 2-so or a 5-so.
2-so and 5-so is called water in a lot of Mahjong circles, so it's right on the money.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's entirely true.
There you go. Meanwhile, we have another Tenpai we haven't mentioned. That's over on Jun's side for the 1 and the 4, and he picks up that 1 right away. 26.
Didn't have enough time to pick up the Chanta, but still got Hatsudora 1.
And that'll be enough to disarm, again, some rather scary-looking hands that we were observing in that last round. Moving on to South 3, the Dora is 9 pin, and we see one of those in Korak's hand as he takes the dealership now. Lagging behind a little bit in points, but we've seen what he can do with a dealership. Definitely don't tune away yet. This is not over for him in the slightest. We see some pairs, 3 of them already. And other than those pairs, though, this does look a little awkward to be working with, but that 1 helps. That 1 pin helps.
Oh, Simon has a decision to make. Okay, Simon was Ishan 10 for a Richinomi hand, but decides to call Pon on the Souths, as that is his seat wind and the round wind, so getting 2 Yaku at once there, and is now Ishan 10 for that double South.
That's pretty nice. And that would definitely give him a little bit of a head start into his final dealer stand, where he'll be trying to catch up with Lucas across the table there.
Yeah, Ishan 10 for Lucas, as a matter of fact, on the left. Just needs to complete either of the Pinzu shapes or that 4-4 So shape.
All right. Looking... Sorry. Okay, it's back. All right, so... Another 7p weight, perhaps? As,
Although a lot of the 7 peen locked up in Jun's hand, trying to make the Ipeko there.
Yeah, that would be kind of a tough sell at this point. 5 peen fit nicely into Simon's hand.
We do have Tenpai.
Closed weight. Yeah, we do have Tenpai for June.
6 peen and 9 peen. Dama, because the 9 peen is Dora, and that's also, I mean, that's the Takame in a massive way. I mean, winning on the 6 would be Pinfu Dora 1. Winning on the 9 would be Pinfu Ipeko Dora 2.
That would be quite a way to seal the victory there. I mean, seal your lead. Or just make things that much harder for Simon going into the final last.
Yep, there
And
it
there's
is.
a 6.
1
Not going to call it, though.
Is that not Pinfu? That's Pinfu, right? Why no call? Just greed?
Perhaps. I mean, you're already in the lead, but not by that much. And especially that would be a good chance to really knock your opponent back. Yeah, he wants more than 2K, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's not enough to overtake Korak. So I guess I can see it from that point of view.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Very interesting move. We'll see if that pays off.
But then the Sumigiri Ricci right after you pass it, I mean, it's kind of sketch. There's the Chi. Korak now waiting 8 Sotanki.
1
That's going to be a Ricci, though, from Navitas.
7 Peen. There's only 11 tiles left in the wall when that Ricci was made. Or I guess maybe 12? 11 or 12.
But picks it up!
What? What?
The impossible Ipatsumo.
Way and gets the Ipatsumo? Huh?
Oh my gosh. Way to seal, like I said, seal your lead there. Picking up a 48,600 points. Also the name of an awesome old school computer processor. Moving on to all last. That's going to be tough to catch.
30K. So it wasn't just a Mongon. You can think of that as a 13,000 point win if everybody's 13 under 30K. That's absolutely wild. 2 of the 17 were in June's hand. What's happening?
The impossible is happening right now, and I wouldn't count this one over though till I don't know what the mahjong equivalent of fat lady singing is. But anyway, South 4. The door is
Eric's paying his pan flute.
There you go. To roll it back to what we were talking about before. Formon is the Dora, and our dealer has one. It's a little tough to convert that into some points, though, with everything else happening in this hand. Oh, finishes up a 7-8-9 sequence there. We're seeing an Anko of the One-So over on June's side. Seeing some... Otherwise, not a lot else happening. You got a pair, but some almost sequences. Oh, there's one. There's a sequence.
Ishanten for June now.
There you go.
Navitas.
Navitas with a few, 4 pairs right now. Those are all pretty close together, so you could turn them into some nice Ipeko if you want to. Korak's got a pretty nice looking couple of... a 1, 2, 3 there sequence. There's a 6 for the 6, a 5, 6, 7 with a pair of 8s. We see some hands all kind of speeding towards a conclusion here. Again, not a lot of people, everyone's below 30K, but they all have a pretty easy way to jump past that if they can pull this off.
Korak's Ishanten just got a little bit better with that 9-peen pull. Ooh, and a nice 6-peen for Simon. Now only needs the 1 and the 3 for Itsu. The 4, a good draw for Lucas.
Yes.
Yep,
dropping the 7, though. Yeah. So now he's Ishanten now, I believe.
Korak taking the perfect Ishanten. A very, very nice perfect Ishanten. Has a Dora Dora Pinfu.
Simon also, I believe, hitting Ishanten with that. No, that's Ishanten. Hang on to that Dora, though, for dear life. You don't really need to do that right now because you just need something to get you through the door and keep this game going a little bit longer.
Yeah, we've got another one of these draw anything next to that 2-peen, anything next to that 4-mon in your Tempai. The 3-peen would be the best draw, because then you would have a 1/4/7 weight with the one giving you Itsu, the pure straight.
Check out that pickup from Navitas just now, picking up the 1 Mon. That puts him either side any Peiko chance. But now we have Tenpai from Korak.
Dama.
Going Dama.
This is Simon who's Tenpai.
Oh, sorry. Not Korak. No, he would have called Reach.
Yeah, for Sanshoku. This is Dama for Sanshoku Door 1.
Wow.
Waiting on the 5-mon.
Well, that's the advantage with Dama, is you can do that just now. Shift that 1, 2, 4 back over. Could throw in Tanyo now at this point, even.
And that's Tenpai on the 6 and the 9 for June, but it is Yakulis. Didn't want to toss in the Ricci stick with only a few tiles remaining, which is reasonable.
Yep. It doesn't look like Simon's going to have what he needs to really hit Tenpai here unless he gets this final draw.
Korak got Tenpai on the final draw as well. So it will be everyone Tenpai except Lucas.
And the game continues. Everybody picking up 1,000 points to assist them in this trek to get above 30k. And now Simon's just a little bit closer to doing that. The Dora is 2 Mon, and we're seeing a few sequences forming up. Rather, it's more pairs right now. We don't really see any completed sequences at the moment. Got a couple of tunes, though, so that can make for an easy, quick Yaku.
We have the west call from Lucas already.
There's the tune call.
And the south, so might be holding out hope for Shosushi. And yes, absolutely, the tune call for Simon, helping that hand along.
Those 2 calls, you see someone trying to keep the game going and someone to shut this game down. Competing interests here on the Mahjong table. Looking at Shinrako Jun, he's got 7, 8, 9, picking up another 4 Mon. So some interesting stuff happening with the Manzu there. 2, 3, and 6. Oh, that 6 Manzu will help as well. I see some value there. I'm just not seeing a whole lot of... Well, that could be speed. If you eschew the value.
Have to discard both in the 9 Mon.
Meanwhile, Simon taking another step forward, calling the 6 So, but now Navitas taking another step forward, calling the Easts. This is a race here.
9 Mon Tonki. And the 7...
Don't put drops to 7, and
Simon.
That's going to be a short score of 1,800 points, but that'll get him above 30k, and the game continues. Second repeat of South 4, and South is the Dora. He's got one of them in hand, and some good sequences to go along with it. This is another fast hand that can keep this going until he really hits that home run, perhaps. Another hand around. I'm looking around at the table, just a cursory glance. I'm not seeing a lot of speed out of the other hands, except maybe from Korak here with those Manzu.
But even that hand still needs help.
Right,
especially since both Korak and Lucas are holding on to their single Dora South as well, and that's taking 1 tile of efficiency away from them.
We're seeing the 9 go into another step forward for Simon. Meanwhile, at Jun's hand, we're seeing some pairs there in the Manzu. And 1 in the Sozu. Oh, yeah, that's a great pickup. Drop the Dora. Don't need it.
Yeah, every draw for Simon has been beneficial. This is now a fantastic Ishanten.
Wow.
And that's
and there's another one.
Minchan, Ricci, Pinfu, waiting on the 2, 5, 8 Mon.
3-sided wait on the 6th turn. That's incredible, quite frankly. And we're seeing a lot of those, though, locked up in the hands around the table already, though. Jun's got the pair of the 2s, has the 8 sitting there in an almost sequence. Almost, though. I don't see that getting discarded for a while. And across we have the 8 Mon as well. That 4, 6, and 8. Korak with the 3, 4, 5. And another 5 for the 7. So everything looks pretty locked up here.
Yeah, there are only 4 more tiles left in the wall on Simon's Weight.
As expansive as it is, but there's still plenty of tiles in the wall to draw. It's a good chance one of those is going to come out in his hand. There's the 4. That's how close you get. 2 Mon, probably going to keep that for an Anko.
Now Ishanten for June.
There's the 4. If you're looking at this table right now, are you thinking the Manzu are looking a little sus? Oh, there's an 8 Mon. Again, it's not that they're sus, it's just that they all fit pretty nicely in each of these other hands. So he pretty much has to go for a sumo at this point.
Yeah, none of them look like they're coming out. Although, I guess, well, if Korak drew another 8 Mon, that would make the 5 Mon pretty useless.
That is true. There's still an 8 Mon left. Actually, no, there are no more 8 Mons.
Oh, right, because one's in the discard. So yeah,
Yeah.
another 5 Mon even could be used by Korak. So
June making a call here. It's in the 4th right now, a good distance away.
yeah,
Probably just looking to end this before sliding any further, because he sees a good momentum on Simon's side.
Well, it also be. I mean, it would also be good. Winning this hand would get you above Korak. There's 6.
That is true too.
In the middle.
That's a good opportunity there.
Maybe not, but I actually don't know that would be enough. But
I think you'd have to hit it directly on Korak to win.
Yes.
Oh, but there's one of the 8s called by Shinraku. And now he's Tenpai on 4 and the 8.
Khan.
Ooh, Khan on the Tuso, which flips the 2 Peen as the new Dora. And then the 7 Mon comes out, which cannot deal into Lucas's hand, which is open.
Right, because he's got that 9 that prevents it from being a Tanyao.
And that
Looking
Khan
to stay Tenpai.
stole that 5-so from well, we actually don't know what Simon would have drawn. The Khan kept Simon from getting a chance at Hote. So
always want to watch out for that.
A very clever Khan by Navitas there.
A bunch of small gains keeping Simon in the game here at South 4. The Dora is 6 Peen. He's got one of those in hand, again, with a sequence. And pairs of the 9s of Manzu and Sozu. This isn't as fast as the other hands, but he can definitely convert on this one, should the wall cooperate, and perhaps the other players.
Yeah, it could very well be faster than anyone else at the table, although June is getting some pretty good draws over there.
Yeah, we have our 2nd and 3rd are pretty close now, too, just to 3,000 points. They're going to be fighting over that. Oh, sorry, 300. You're right. They're going to be fighting over that little bit of UMA difference here, especially in this pretty tight goings here in the leaderboard for promotions and demotions. Hate to say fighting for scraps, but that's kind of what it is. It's a good scrap, though. It's a good scrap they're fighting over.
It's a very good scrap. It's just like one piece of, well, I'm vegetarian, so like it's just the dopest mushroom.
The dopest mushroom. There we go. Some Super Mario imagery in here.
Yes.
All right. Taking a look at Navitas's hand. He's got the pair of norths, pair of 9s, and so pair of wests now too.
That is the
sequence. Yeah. He could also be going for Chitoi. I mean, you're just looking for any way to stop this. We're on the 3rd repeat. He's got to be like, all right, enough's enough. Let's shut this thing down. That 8 pickup's going to make things more interesting, too.
Discards the 7 Mon, keeping Honitsu possibility alive, and also keeping that 6-7 shape for now.
Korak here looking for some, maybe a little bit faster speed here. He's got a pair of the 1s, got a sequence of the 2, 3, and 4. But now we have Tenpai for June.
Waiting on the 4 Mon and the 7 Mon. right? You don't really see a world where this gets you into second place or above 30K. So you just Dama it because that is enough to put you in third and Korak in fourth.
And keep everybody unaware, like Navitas, who's dropping that 7.
You gotta take it. If you're gonna Dama, you can't pass it. Yeah.
There you go. And that's the game.
700.
Picking up 2,900 points to grab second over Korak. That is going to give him 6.5 with that. And then 29.7, though. Navitas taking home a pretty big victory here. We'll see those standings update in just a little bit. Shinrako with losing 11.8 there. And Korak taking fourth with 24.4. That puts him just at the cut line now. With that -9. Yes. Oh, man. That can go any way with these last 2 games. Simon, though, is going to lengthen his lead, though, staying well up in safety, 44.8 now. Lucas dropping a little bit deeper with a 54.7, and June still trying to find his way out. Not making any huge losses tonight, but you still need to find those big gains, and I mean, we're thinking of double Yakuman at this point to get up and out, but, you know, crazier things have happened, I'd say, in this league.
I wish I could agree with you.
You know, that would be pretty much the craziest thing to happen ever in this league.
I don't think crazier things. So listen, crazy stuff has happened. I'm like, yes. I'll give you that.
In this game.
In this game, wild stuff has happened. I mean, we've seen 27 Under the Seas in the past 2 streams, but we haven't seen anybody go plus 350 in 2 Hanchan.
Yeah. But hey, if June pulls it off, I think that's what the entire Mahjong world will be talking about. So there you go, June. Shoot for greatness here. Well, what a game that was. And speaking of long games, we do have the results of the B1, B2 game. That one just finished off. I got a note about it from... Here we go. It was an 18-hand game lasting about an hour long. There were 2 Baimons, 2 Hanemons, and 5 Mongons. Again, that is a playoff to see who can jump into B1. And, man, if you could see the graph we're seeing in this Discord right now, it is pretty insane. Just the way that everyone's kind of... Well, Joe gets a pretty big lead, and then boom, he drops all the way down to last on that. Oh, man, I wish I could pull this up.
And it looks like we are pulling up that log right now, actually.
Oh, yeah. Let's take a look.
That Baimon was in East 4, Repeat 3.
East 4, Repeat 3.
And there were a lot of repeats in the East round.
Yeah, 18 hands, 61 minutes long. That's some endurance mahjong there.
Right, and this hand was won by Matthew, and Joe is unfortunately the person who deals in here.
Mm-hmm. We don't really see those names because they're being obfuscated, but yeah, look at that coming together, as you said.
All right, and now it's a Chitoy, but we haven't called Ricci yet.
Mm-hmm.
All we have to do is draw a Manzu, and this becomes, oh god, a Sha weight, a once cut West for a whole Nitsu Chitoy Ricci.
Oh my gosh.
This is like a guarantee. You make this Ricci, and you're like, there's no way I lose. You call Ricci, you go pour yourself a glass of milk, and you come back just waiting for your Hanuman.
Mm-hmm. So the game progresses, but looking at the other hands, we see another big pair hand across with that 1 and the 7 and the 5 and the Souths. It's not going to keep speed with this hand, though. You can just tell. So we see that West inching ever closer, revealing the walls here.
And one of them was actually in the dead wall, so that West that came into hand was the only one left. People were getting pretty close to Tenpai.
Originally, that 6 he was waiting on was right at the end of the dead wall. So definitely a
Okay.
good call to not call Ricci and let this
Oh.
one cook a little bit.
Yeah,
There's the West, though, and it's
No.
got to come out.
it has to. I
Oh.
mean,
Yeah.
and then two, all the tune.
Oh my gosh.
Making the Haku, the Uradora, yeah. Richi Chitoi Honitsu Uratu for a Baimon. That's disgusting. As dealer? A dealer Baimon? Oh.
And that's where you see on the graph where let me pull that back up again.
That's where the monster opens its mouth. Joe became
Yes.
the bottom jaw. Matthew becomes the top jaw, and Christopher and Dakota become this like the snake's tongue with its
Oh,
two
wow.
prongs. There is really what this graph looks like. For those who can't see it, that is my beautiful imagery. Yeah, there it is. Look at that.
There it is. Yeah.
We're gonna
Scroll down a
pull
little
it
bit
up here
more.
for you.
Yeah, that's the whole scoring breakdown you're seeing right now. And wow, I mean, just look at all. I mean, that was just the biggest scoring hand. That was just the biggest scoring hand. Look at all those other big hands that happened in here. I mean, it's one thing for a game to go for 18 hands and start off like we were seeing on like the last game, but this one, you just got bombs dropping everywhere
You know
for
what?
a whole hour.
Here's another way to look at it. There are 8 limit plus hands. That is an entire Hanchan. There was a Hanchan of Mongon plus hands
There you
in
go.
that round. And there is the whole snake monster's mouth that we were talking about.
Matthew picking up an incredible 48 plus points off of that. Dakota picking up 9. Christopher losing 15. Joe sadly having to take the drop there with negative 42.3.
And what's really rough here is that playoff, only the top person gets promoted. Only one. If I remember this is the B1 B2 from I believe Pool A, isn't it?
I think so. I think they're all kind of mixed up.
Well, Pool
are.
A for the B1
Except for-
B2 playoff, Pool A is separate from Pools B and C. Pools B and C have already had their playoffs, so I'm pretty sure this is Pool A, which means
I'm in
only
Pool
one
A,
person
so
here gets to promote. So
okay.
they have this Hanchan that it takes an entire hour, and at the end of it, if you're Joe, you're like, surely I'm not. After all of that mess, after everything I just went through, after dealing in on a perfectly reasonable Westis card, surely I'm not out of this, right? That's what I mean.
There's the tail of the tape right there, and that was game 2, I guess, because that's the finish there. Yeah, Joe with negative 35.5. I guess he was actually had a pretty good game 1 to end up there. Yeah, he finished second on game 1. Dakota with 34.9 overall in the series with a first and a second. Matthew with 32 with a first and a third. Christopher with a 31.7 with 2 thirds. Yeah, like you said, wow. I mean, I guess saving grace for Joe is he finished just above 0, as you can see on the graph, taking a final like revenge Mongon out of Chris.
Oh, revenge, Ricci San Anko Toy. Like just a oh wait, hold on. If it was a San Anko Toy Ron, it was a freaking Suanko Tenpai. That's what that has to mean.
Wow, I want to see that now to see. I mean, I would have held on to that, but maybe if that was at the very end and I had no choice, if there were just no tiles left, I mean, that's when I would have taken it. So here we are, and that all last.
Only dealt 3 pairs.
We see Joe right now sitting at negative 6,300. Yeah, 3 pairs to start with. 6. Yeah.
There's another 8. Okay, and now we're actually discarding one of our pairs. Get rid of this West. Pulls in another 2.
But drops it.
Oh, we don't need it. Fine. It's a bad shape. A 9. Okay, whatever.
West.
Pulls in a 1. All right, now we get rid of the 2. We're like, if the pairs are going to keep coming, we might as well keep them. First Anko.
But now the pair turns to an Anko, and then that's when you start thinking,
Get rid of the
But again, we're already midway through the hand, and there's a Ricci.
Pum.
And he's looking for the 1 or the 4, which you're not going to drop. You're not going to drop those.
And then we broke the Apatsu with that pawn. All right, now we have all the pairs we need. There's another
There's the
Anko.
8. And now you're not quite tenpai.
And now,
sure.
now your
Yes.
heart has
Gee.
begun to race.
But you're in the third row, so it's
And-
all coming down to this.
Now Toyman's
Oh.
Tenpai waiting on 4-so, 7-so for a Honitsu, and then we have a pawn from
You're
Shima.
denied a crucial draw there with that skip.
There's
And there's the 1!
But the skip
Yeet.
shifts the 1
Calls
to
Ricci.
Go Tenpai. So you're waiting on the 1 mon and the 9 mon. You see 1 mon in the discards, 1 9 mon in the discards. Ooh boy.
That's 14 tiles left. There's the 1! Oh, wait, no, we went back.
Gee.
Sorry. I got... Ugh. Okay.
And then
yeah,
it
there's the
comes out.
9! So...
No Ipatsu because
But look at the
of
wall.
chi.
Look at the wall. I mean, you wouldn't have drawn that either, but oh man. Would you have held out just a little bit longer? I mean, who would the 1 would have gone to at this point?
It's
See, south. He would have drawn the 5. Then the 4 would go to B, and then 7 to C, and then yeah.
Yeah, and the question is, would there have been another call? Right, so you called Ricci on the 3-peen, it got cheed. And that's why the 9 mon went into C's hand. C discards it, let's say you pass. Then you get the south from Kamicha, who's in Ricci, they can't do anything, they discard it. Then you get the 5-peen, you discard it, it cannot be called by either Shimo or Toyman. So that goes by. Shimo draws the 4 mon, can't be called. 7 mon can't be called. Yeah, so it can't get shifted. So that would not be the winning play. So this was the best result for their score for sure. But wow, just
After all of that, man, that would be an insane comeback story. Be pushed that far below after taking the early lead in the early game. And I mean, East round was pretty much all Joe's until that Baimon, right? Yeah, that's true, because yeah, East went on a super long time. Yeah, that's where a lot of the repeats happened, was in East. But then that Baimon changed the complexion. Everything. Wow.
12 hands in the East round.
Mm-hmm.
That's absurd. I mean, we actually had some long games here, but nothing like that, because we had long East rounds in both of the games that we just commentated. I mean, this last game we went up to East 2-4. That game ended up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 hands in it. That's only 1 less. This last game we just watched only had 1 less hand in it. And then the round before that we watched did go to East 2-4, but there were almost no other repeats, so not quite as significant.
Right.
But we should probably call it quit. We've been going for a while here.
Yeah, some crazy intense action here at the end of the season in the ARML. Really, A1's been action-packed from the word go at the start of this season. But from there, and the B division as well, B2 and 1. I mean, it's been some crazy action this season. Definitely, thank you. Big pat on the back to all the players for really bringing their A game for this thing, you know. And, and we do have a stat update here. The game we just commentated in A1 also 61 minutes. So if that felt long, that's because it was. And you see the playoffs standings now here. The game we were just taking a look at there. We were looking at, Joe, Christopher, Matthew, and Dakota's. You see me there in B2, B3, holding steady on a 0.5.
You see. Have you already mentioned? I'm not gonna lie. I spaced out for a second. Have you mentioned our beautiful broadcast director who has done so much work? That we just keep, every time Jeremy comes on, we seem to just ask him to do random things that he never expected, like thing to like use Photoshop to be able to pull in the the stats on a game that was played. The first game, like one of the first games that we did not stream during the session 6, is currently sitting in first in A1.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's incredible. That's dedication to being a volunteer and pulling some great games there as well. 107.7. Though I gotta say, Flan, who I've been seeing in the chat tonight, is not that far away, and he's still got his 4 games to play, so that'll be an interesting turn of events there to see who takes the gold. Steve's got just as good a chance as well.
I mean,
And-
everyone at that table does, really.
Yes.
Kwong is entirely capable of putting together massive wins. In the Beta League season, was a little bit ways down the ranking going into, I believe it was session 4 or 5, and then had like a plus 90 or plus 100 point game that included a Yakuman that just like completely jolted him up the standings and put him in second behind Eric, actually, in Pool A of the Beta League. And that is
Mhm.
how he ended up in A1 and has put on a good showing there. And then Light Pink Yoshi, of course, is another well-known name, and in the community and in the chat, he shows up often. So, you know, any of those 4 players could steal first from Jeremy. They could also just kind of cannibalize each other and leave Jeremy up top. It should be noted that if Eric does end up in first, whoever is in second will get a seat at the end of the year league championship, since Eric already has a seat as he was the Beta League champion.
Gotcha. That's right. We do have that end of the league championship. I forgot about that, but yeah, that's what winning the season gets you. Excuse me. I think all this craziness, my voice is finally starting to give here, but again, some crazy action in the RML tonight. We definitely thank you all for coming. Of course, if you are watching, we still got the games in progress. You can watch them without our commentary. You can see that over, well, the YouTube channel. That's where you see our archived streams. Also on Twitter, we are at American Ricci. And I believe we had a link somewhere to the spectator lobby.
It is on the homepage, which is also currently linked in the Twitter chat, not the Twitch chat.
Yes, AmericanRicci.org to find that and find a lot about our league. See when you can sign up for the, I guess, Autumn League coming up after the Summer League. But for now, that'll be it for me, myself, Blaine Singletary, and of course, Tucker, also known as Ennui. Any final thoughts tonight before we close up?
No, I'm just ready to zoop on out of here.
Yep, same here. I'll zoop on out, and of course, you can follow me at SB Singletary on Twitter. But as for me and the ARML, have a good night.